We're live.
Live? Okay. Let me just quickly check.
Yeah, it's live.
And I think we should be fine. Okay. It's on live on your screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, guys. Welcome to another podcast. And this is from a new setup in Delhi. We will now hopefully be very regular with our uploads. अभी हम लोग थोड़ा सा irregular हो गए थे, हम मूव कर रहे थे इंडिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया से. एंड आज हम स्टार्ट करें विद अ वेरी स्पेशल गेस्ट, विनर ऑफ COB2,
Oh my.
connoisseur of Afri Afri, and the creator of Afsos, Anirban Dasgupta. Hey Anirban,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How is India?
India's good.
India's
We're very happy
interesting.
to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. आपको do you have this thing, like do you like India, or do you want to like settle abroad at some point in your life?
I want to settle abroad in some point. Yeah.
You want to settle abroad? We've been there, done that. I think हम लोग abroad रह के आ गए and we're like अब काम यहाँ पे, तो we're going to come back.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I want to do it the other way as of now.
Normally लोगों का वही होता है. हम लोग एक टाइम पे निकल गए जल्दी
हाँ,
and then we've now we're like यार यहाँ कुछ नहीं रखा, वापस चलो. एक तो creators के लिए होता है ना.
Where were you guys?
Australia. Yeah.
Australia, Melbourne. Okay.
Yeah, we just
Okay.
moved like 4 days ago. We moved back.
Yeah.
So it's but where would you want to move if you had a choice? Like which city in the world?
Dude, I would like to move to New Zealand.
Ah, nice.
Because yeah, so my dad was in the merchant navy, and he used to go to all these countries when I was small, and he used to always come back and tell me that New Zealand is the most beautiful country in the world. So that has just stuck, and now whenever I watch anything of New Zealand on the internet, I just like, hey, want to go here.
And natural social distancing also. Like वो इतने कम लोग हैं वहाँ पे.
वो भी बहुत बड़ा advantage है.
हाँ, वो
I've been to New Zealand जब मैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया में था. It's my first holiday that I went to in Australia was to New Zealand. मेरा एक friend था वहाँ पे, and it is genuinely true. I went to this Auckland side, not the like Wellington side, and it is
Yeah.
genuinely like पानी seems like I know पानी colorless होता है whatever, but पानी का color better लगता है. Like
Wow.
it's got I skydived over a lake in New Zealand. And it was
Ooh.
The
but
video
sadly
is
my
the
mask fell
funniest
off
thing ever. His
and
mask flew off.
I thought I'm dying. So that's all on video. But yeah, New Zealand is a very nice place actually.
Yeah. So that's the long-term plan, I guess.
Fair enough. But New Zealand में comedy कैसे करोगे? Like वहाँ पे
वो
audience
सब नहीं सोचे, वो सब तो अभी
अच्छा.
वो सब अभी
क्योंकि I
फिल्टर
remember
लगा नहीं है.
वैभव से एक बार बात हुई थी, वैभव on I think B-Stats के शो पे उसने कहा था कि I would want to move to New York I think. पर उसने कहा था न्यूयॉर्क में at least comedy का scope है, like comedy
Yeah,
clubs and all
yeah.
this.
Yeah, no, that was the goal that I also had कि New York जाके comedy करेंगे and like all the clubs and like get paid in cash like that little life. But अभी तो मतलब पता नहीं comedy का क्या ही scene है.
अभी आएगा वहाँ पे. तो लॉस एंजलिस में भी काफी अच्छा कॉमेडी सीन हो गया है LA में. Like West
Yeah.
Coast comedy has become so big over there that New York it almost rivals New York comedy now. And I think it's better. I think it's better at the moment.
Yeah, all the people get discovered in LA for the films and all. So it's like a big city for stand-up comics.
जो रोगन ने करा ना वहाँ जाके उसने अपना बिठा के then he's built that up really well.
Yeah.
But Anirban, चलो we'll get more into like your sort of story. मेरे को एक चीज I wanted to ask you first is like कि did you have this realization before that कि if I do comedy and I do it well, like I can make a good life out of it in India, or was it like कि you just wanted to do it and then realize अरे इसमें तो पैसा भी ठीक ठाक है, career भी बन सकता है, and this kind of thing?
Yeah. No, like when I started out, like there was no career prospects. Like it was like nobody was famous, and like थोड़ा बहुत बॉम्बे में scene था, तो like starting में तो like I started doing it, and like not just me, everybody, like Weber and I actually did our first open mic on the same date.
Yeah, I heard this on Sumit's show, right? With the
Oh yeah,
Bob
yeah.
Norman, yeah.
So all of us at that point we just wanted to do something on the side. I was doing a job, and I really enjoyed the whole idea of stand-up. So I was like देख के करते हैं. मेरा 2 महीने में शादी था, तो ऐसा कुछ मैं career वरियर कुछ सोचा नहीं था.
So you got married at 24. I'm
Yeah.
25 right now. My thing is, and I'm so far away from marriage. Well, I found out about this like yesterday or 2 days ago or something. I'm like, wait, how old is Nirban? Because I was just thinking about it. I'm like, oh, he's 27. You're 27, right?
No, man.
You're 28.
Wow.
How old are you?
I was once. Dude, I'm 32.
32.
So that is wrong information online.
Oh wow.
I saw somewhere it said you're 27. So I'm like, so he's only been 3 years. I'm like, like your thought processes are very like with your comedy also. It's very thought out. So I'm thinking he sounds very mature with the way he's doing it. But he's only 27. Like that's amazing. And that's what my mind was. I'm like, this is phenomenal.
But like, so how like how did you like like we बिना career decide करे ऐसे 24 पे शादी करना? That's not like that's very unusual.
No, that was the period of my life where I was just very happy in general. Okay, so I was just we took this call to get married very so quickly that I informed my parents. Like my parents had no idea also. Like my dad was calling me from like somewhere in Europe, like because he was sailing and he used to call us like once a week. And in one of these calls, I'm like, "Hey, I'm getting married in Feb." So he was
Like
really
reroute, come
shocked.
back to India.
He was like, okay, okay, I'll come back by November.
That's quite crazy.
That's amazing because
And your wife was sorry you.
my only thing was like when I think about 24, I have a few friends who've gotten married now. And मुझे डर लगता है वो सोच के कि उनका अपना तो साला
Yeah, yeah.
ठिकाना ही नहीं है
Because
कोई.
I have this joke, okay, and this is a very true joke in like my life, which is the joke is that I've been married for 7 years, and now I am ready for marriage. Okay, वैसा ही कुछ लग रहा है मेरे को.
उसमें तो टाइम लगता ही है. Yeah, you had something.
Then I was like, but your wife was also like very cool. Like you both must have been very happy. Career
Yeah, yeah.
It's
fine.
funny how
Yeah,
you say
yeah.
Married
it's
first.
funny how you say you were happy, and I like there's a switch suddenly.
Yeah, उस टाइम पे तो मतलब कुछ पता नहीं क्या चल रहा था.
Yeah.
It
We were
was
watching the special again yesterday, and I heard that joke ना जिसमें you say किसमें it's like lawyer का फोन है कि divorce हो गया कहता नहीं वो बाद में अभी केस में.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm writing a film on divorce now, तो मेरे को मजा आ रहा है ये वाला
Writing
couples
like
का ये सब.
have you started or are you in the middle of it? Like what is the
No, we are writing. We like are developing a story with the producer. तो वो चल रहा है अभी. So that's on writers going through divorce.
oh,
So
Wait, that's on writers going through divorce.
yeah, yeah, it's a very interesting concept.
It's very
I don't want
meta,
to say
isn't
anything more.
it? If it actually happens.
नहीं fair enough we'll
This is
keep
divorceception happening.
It's a like fun idea that like we are working on.
But this is
So
very cool. Like, did you ever think that after getting into comedy, you will develop scripts or you write scripts? So this just happened once with Afsos, and now you're feeling like, okay, I can do this again and again.
yeah, again, it just happened. I just got the opportunity because of stand up. Like उस time पे all these platforms were looking for stand up comics doing web series, and फिर बहुत मजा आया. And now we are seeing like what else we can do.
But अच्छा, Afsos के लिए did you ever have like any other idea? Or was this the first idea you thought of, and this is the first idea you pitched? Like before Afsos, when you know how you said
हाँ,
that ये idea है कि
yeah,
comedians web series कर रहे हैं and all this. तो इसमें
हाँ,
तुम्हारा first idea ये था कि this is an immortal man trying to
yeah.
commit suicide, like this kind of concept, or was it that you thought of something else and then you came to this?
No, no, this was the first idea, but उस time पे like the idea wasn't like picked up. तो उसके बाद we got many other ideas and हम लोग थोड़ा बहुत pitching भी किया था. But the first idea that we ever pitched was Afsos. And then after 2 years of the first pitch, we like kind of like refocused on it and started pitching again, and that's when it got picked up. तो
Oh
उस
wow.
बीच में और भी ideas आए थे. Like one of the ideas उस बीच जो आया था is this movie that we are writing right now, जो the divorce film.
So in a
So
way, it's good कि 2 साल तक like no one was picking it up क्योंकि फिर
yeah, yeah, like all the ideas I think develop like this only. Like पहले एक बार idea आता है उसके बाद 2 साल तक कुछ नहीं होता है, and then suddenly like everything starts moving.
Bro,
that's
काफी लोगों का you see that like with TV shows and movies that it sometimes they say that we worked like 5 years trying to get this into development or 6 years into development. And that's like I think that's a very common thing like in when you do, isn't it? Sometimes it doesn't click at that time, but then 2 years later they're like, you
Yeah,
know what, this will be funny, and then
yeah, dude, like it's very difficult to judge how much time it will take because some things happen very quickly and some things take a little bit of a time. So like I don't know, like just luck maybe, like combination of so many factors, but yeah, that's how it is.
But if it's possible, can you share like some like in the first time when you pitched Afsos? Of course, it was
Yeah.
not maybe as
How does that
complete as.
meeting go?
That's exactly
That's the
like what
one
I'm
thing that
trying
I
to
would
ask.
be
Like,
very curious about.
of course, it
Okay.
wasn't as complete as 2 years later, but
Yeah.
वो like शुरू वाले में like what kind of reactions were you getting कि लोग क्या 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 बात कर रहे थे and all this kind of stuff.
Okay, so like we were actually very excited when we got the chance to pitch a TV show because we had no idea how to do it. ठीक है, तो मैं कैलकाटा में था, मेरा दोस्त जो co-creator है दिब्बो वो बॉम्बे में था, and he just called me and he said that परसों pitch है, Woot was the platform. तो मैं सीधा लाइक नेक्स्ट डे फ्लाइट लेके आ गया एंड उसी रात को वी वर लाइक प्लानिंग द पिच की ओके कैसे बात करना है, कैसे पायलट को लाइक नरेट करना है. लाइक आवर आइडिया वाज टू लाइक गिव देम कॉन्टेक्स्ट एंड देन वील जस्ट स्टार्ट रीडिंग द स्क्रिप्ट. सो इट इज सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी, कुछ लाइक और समझाना नहीं है. एंड पायलट का स्क्रिप्ट, तो वी वेंट देयर एंड we got a lot of laughs. Like narration में अफसोस का ये एक common factor है whenever we have been narrating अफसोस for the like before 5 years back, 3 years back, 2 years back, just before it got made, we get a lot of laughs during the narration. So that has like really helped us because when you're laughing at a narration, automatically like it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Feedback thoda kam aayega. Like it's one of those things, and yeah, so we got a lot of laughs over there, and the head of Woot at that point is currently the head of Netflix, I think now. And she said that we really like the story, but it's probably not for our slate right now.
Hmm.
And we don't want you to change things also because it's an original vision. I quite like it. So it was a very nice meeting that actually gave us the confidence ki, okay, like there is something here.
Did you ever wonder that after that meeting they say, when they say something like that, you're like, ये मक्खन लगाने के लिए बोला है इनने कि ये actually में mean करते हैं ये.
Yeah, it could be. No, I like the fact that we had like हाँ ये हो सकता है but I like the discussion we had because we went on discussing about the problem that they had with it was the protagonist is not likable. That is a very basic kind of a funda in film. The protagonist has to be liked. That's how you get the audience hooked. So we were like at that point kind of thinking of a show like Curb Your Enthusiasm where
Yeah.
the protagonist is not likable at all. So it can happen, although it's not the norm. There is a chance, and like we weren't seeing it as a Curb Your Enthusiasm, just an unlikable character. Also, it's just like a sorry character, जो अपना protagonist है, like not a hero,
Yeah.
anti-hero, like वो वाले zone में. So we still felt that वो हो सकता है. So it was a really good chat. It gave us a lot of confidence कि okay, ठीक है, we can do something with it still.
And उसके बाद did you pitch to more people in that time frame or you left it alone?
We left it. We left
Okay.
it
But that's
completely.
strange. Like कि आपको इतना अच्छा feedback मिला and then you're like कि इसको हम छोड़ देते हैं अभी के लिए.
हाँ, बट लाइक वी रियलाइज दैट टाइम देना जरूरी है. उस टाइम पे उतना टाइम दिया नहीं था हम लोग. लाइक 2-3 महीने में मतलब उस टाइम पे कुछ पता भी नहीं था कि कैसे लिखते हैं. और तो देन वी डिसाइडेड कि ठीक है अभी हम लोग पिच नहीं करेंगे बट इस पे काम करते हैं, इनफॉर्मली काम करते हैं. तो हम लोग लाइक वीक में 1-2 बार लाइक फोन पे बात करते थे एंड लाइक कभी कभी मिलते थे तो डिस्कस करते थे कि ये कर सकते हैं वो कर सकते हैं. एंड दैट्स हाउ द स्टोरी काइंड ऑफ लाइक टुक शेप थोड़ा और.
And also, I was thinking कि at the end of the day, I watched the show and I remember I
Hmm.
messaged you after watching the show also, and I was like कि I realized that once you make जैसे गुलशन देवैया के character से when you are giving the perspective, even though he's like very like not as you said hero like,
Hmm.
it's still
Hmm.
he's still the hero for the audience. There is still likability. There is still like
Yeah.
that feeling for the character that you want. Okay, like every time that Upadhyay was going to kill him, you were like कि नहीं मरे यार.
Yeah,
You know that is
exactly.
still there.
हाँ, इट वाज स्टिल देयर. एंड उस टाइम पे इतना अच्छे से शेप अप भी नहीं हुआ था ना, तो उस टाइम पे लाइक दिस वाज अ लेजिट फीडबैक कि ये कौन है,
Okay.
लाइकेबल एकदम नहीं है. बट या द कैरेक्टर शेप्ड अप वेरी नाइसली इन द एंड. सौरभ घोष ने फाइनल स्क्रीन प्ले लिखा था एंड दैट वाज लाइक अ रियली गुड जॉब. लाइक
Yeah.
sorted out everything, and then Gulshan played that character so nicely. So all these factors have to like be successful for the thing to be
To like
successful.
to kind of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is Afsos 2 coming. I think I read somewhere कि कुछ है, like I was reading some news online, कुछ ऐसा confirmed नहीं था. I don't know if what you're allowed to say, but
Yeah. Like nothing, no news yet.
okay.
Is,
We'll
what I
end the
can
topic there.
That's
Yeah.
also good.
Then fair enough. Sorry.
Yeah.
But that's quite cool. And what I was also thinking is ki, how did you sort of then get into this zone where Anubhuti Kashyap came in and because she directed the show, right?
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
So after the show got picked up, when we were like told to make the show, that's something I really enjoyed. Like they straight away said, "Ki bus ho gaya, just make the show." Like normally, what happens is the show is developed over a period of time. Like they pick it up for development. Say an OTT will like an idea and they'll say, "Ki, "Okay, let's develop it," and then they'll work with the writers for the next like 6 8 months and develop the show, and then it gets greenlit to be made.
Hmm.
But for us, they were like, just make it. It was a very small show, so ज़्यादा like focus नहीं था उसमें. And then our producers were like calling up directors and like listing directors that they thought that would do a good job in Afsos. And Anubhuti was one of them. So as soon as we met Anubhuti, we were very clear, ki, oh, this is great. We want to work with her.
No,
Yeah,
that's right.
that's interesting. Like often think about. I was just trying to equate it to when we also met like people for music, and मैंने तभी आपसे I asked that question where you said when I said कि मजे मजे में लगता है कि बोल दिया क्योंकि हमारे भी ना लेबल्स के साथ एक दो मीटिंग्स हुई और हमने
Hmm,
उनको
hmm,
हमारे गाने पिच करे थे
hmm,
एंड अभी हमारा एक शूट भी होना है तो ये सारी
hmm,
चीज़ें करके हमने एक आइडिया बनाया था कि हम शूट करेंगे बड़ा प्रोडक्शन शूट है एंड देन
हाँ,
ये सब पिच करेंगे टू वन ऑफ द बिग लेबल्स एंड try and
hmm.
get a launching pad and कईयों के साथ हाँ हाँ अरे ये तो फटेगा अरे ये तो कमाल का ये तो फिर उसके बाद ना फॉलो अप नहीं होता मैं कि यार ये थोड़ा और लग रहा है मेरे को ये तो
The
like
toughest thing is to actually pen and paper पे लिखा हुआ हो कि ये हम कर रहे हैं तुम्हारे साथ and it's going like that. That is the hardest thing actually.
and you see
It
it
is.
like
It
the
is.
thing is like
Yeah.
we make the songs enjoy सब कर रहे हैं मतलब तो फिर वो भी स्क्यू कर देता है कि अरे enjoy तो किया था यार इतना मजा आया था इसमें मतलब
That's why Dhiren was asking you about that meeting की बाद में लगता है इन्होंने ऐसे ही बोल दिया maybe it's a
अब मैं तो कोई उम्मीद ही नहीं
personal
रखता
thing.
हूँ कि मैंने कहा नहीं यार जाके करेंगे उसके बाद आगे बढ़ो if something comes it'll come back um but it's not
Yeah.
it's there's no point in keeping that because I मैं अरे हमारे साथ हुआ था यार मेरे को मैं इतना
Dhiren
वो
sad हो गया
इतना वो था कि बट शुरू में ना because that's how you think about it मैं इतना था मैंने कहा yes this is actually the right way to go पूरा it was a decent sized label also we were talking remember in quarantine
yeah we spoke to a
in
very big
quarantine
level
in
actually.
Australia. We had just landed back from India because we had to leave India. We had to shoot in March last year.
Mm,
I mean this year,
mm,
and
mm.
quarantine hits the day before we shoot. So
Oh.
so everything gets postponed indefinitely. We book tickets. We finally get a flight to fly out to Australia. We go
Uh,
back क्योंकि हमारा सारा घर वर वहीं पे था.
mm,
Come back to Australia, quarantine 2 weeks, and then quarantine में हमें फोन कॉल आया कि यार ये इंटरेस्टेड हो सकते हैं इनके लिए प्ले करते हैं फिर दो मतलब एक डेढ़ हफ्ता तो सिर्फ ऐसे जैसे चला फिर फाइनली आई थिंक एक महीना बाद हमारी फ़ोन कॉल हुई जब हम घर पहुंच गए थे फिर उसके बाद मैंने कहा ये तो सारा ही गड़बड़ लग रहा है यार ये कुछ समझ क्यों फ़ोन कॉल पे समझ आ गया मैंने कहा इंटरेस्ट नहीं था मतलब
It was very weird. It was very weird actually. It was
कुछ
a
और
very
ही फ़ोन
weird
oh.
कॉल
phone
हुई
call.
थी
And then it had some very weird conditions as well. But pata nahi, we'll get that will be another podcast maybe once that song does release. We'll talk about it then. But also, I like this one thing that I was very interested in. Ki, did you have any role to play after the director said ki casting and stuff? Because there was a lot of like very interesting casting. Just say even Danish Seth was there, and that's
Mm,
that guy,
mm,
that
mm.
Russian guy,
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
it was very like a lot of people. You're like we know these people, but not necessarily know them to be in this zone or in this kind of or acting like kind of thing.
yeah.
Like what was
So, like, yeah, the role actually remained. Like, that was the most interesting part of the role. When the thing is actually being made and when all the decisions are being taken, ki who will be cast. And so, yeah, like, I was quite involved. उसमें बहुत मजा भी आया. So, when we met Anubhuti told us her vision for the show. And it was more or less like very similar to, what we were wanting to make. And after that, it just remained that collaborative throughout. So,
nice?
yeah, she was obviously like she knew what was to be done, and if we like got some ideas, we would just go and pitch it to her. And this included casting. Like in casting, a lot of ideas like just came up when we were jamming together कि ये करते हैं. Goldfish का character जो है ना, Jamie Alter, Tom
Yeah,
Alter का
yeah.
son, that character like has was one of the most enjoyable casting decisions, because we were not getting a character that speaks fluent Hindi but is
Hmm.
white. That was the
Hmm.
need for the character,
Okay.
and everybody had that थोड़ा एक्सेंट में बोलता है, like you know, तो हम
हाँ
लोग like hours of YouTube videos we are watching, ऐसा कोई है क्या? There was this one guy from Australia जो एक वायरल हुआ था, आप लोगों को याद है क्या? जो
कौन कौन
बहुत अच्छा हिंदी बोलता है, कोई तो कैफे में बैठ के हिंदी बोल रहा है, एक एक बहुत वायरल वीडियो था, एंड
Australian?
Australian. I'll try to look for that video, man. It was so we were trying to find this random guy in Australia कि इसको मैसेज तो करते हैं कि एक रोल करेगा तो वो वाले like you know discussions होते थे उस टाइम पे, and then Saurabh Ghosh was like Tom Alter would be the right person to play that role. So obviously Tom Alter was no more, and
Yeah.
then we thought कि okay, maybe we can ask his son Jamie if he would be interested. So all these were like, you know, work at that point, ki just to figuring out, getting the pieces in place.
Yeah, and Jamie Alter, I think he's done some acting, but this was sort of his like main first sort of appearance in sort of Indian landscape, right? Yeah. I was watching his he did this episode where he was explaining how he did this part and his appreciation for it. He was also very good in that show actually.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
perfect. He
Yeah.
was so good. He was so good. I was very happy that it happened.
Sorry, David, first, I just want to pause it for 1 second. You stop shaking the table.
अच्छा, I'm shaking the table.
वो टेबल हिलाई जा रहा है और मेरा कैमरा हिली जा रहा है. I'm like, इसको मैं मैसेज करूँ कि इसको ऐसे बोलूँ, मैं क्या करूँ? ध्यान से कर यार.
अरे यार, this table to be shaking.
Also, my other thing was they do, but does this happen a lot more where when you look at casting in like odd roles or something? Do you go online and then just look for people, or like
Yeah. Like we have done that.
because should
Yeah,
I?
yeah, you should say it now because you didn't get
Because
the
I didn't
part.
get it. Okay. So someone approached me like in October because I was making these like really funny sort of, not really funny, but like these really how would you
You were just doing
characterize it?
satire, sort of like.
Yeah. I was
Okay,
making these
okay.
double roll videos on Instagram just because just passing lockdown time I was getting bored घर पे. So
Yeah.
I was making these double roll videos where my Australian version and my Indian version talk about things happening in the world, and one has an accent, one doesn't have an accent, and one is very stupid, and one's like, but we would always interchange who's the stupid one, who's not the stupid one, and like
Yeah,
ignorance and racist and everything. I'm making these videos, and they were अच्छा मेरे सारे friends are sharing it, very nice. I'm like सही है यार, मेरे को तो ऐसे मिलता ही नहीं, तो मतलब views. तो मैं 3 बनाए मैंने, उसके बाद नहीं किया क्योंकि उसके बाद हम podcast पे काम करने लगे, but I made that, and then I think a week or two after the third one, which was I think on like China or something that I'd made.
Yeah, coronavirus.
Coronavirus पे. And then 3 weeks after that or something, I get a text, a DM from a casting agent, from a casting agency actually, saying that we would like to cast you for this lead role in this supposedly on OTT. I don't know if I should say the OTT platform. Doesn't matter.
You can say the platform. You can even say the production house if you want. It
okay.
was Tiger Baby, Zoya Akhtar's production house.
Oh,
So it was Netflix. It was for Netflix. And they, so I said, what? I'm like, ये को मजाक कर रहा है मेरे साथ, मेरा पर्सनल ये की बकवास है, ऐसे थोड़ी मतलब. So then I went and I checked the casting page. So I have a couple of friends, actors in Mumbai, so they follow that page and everything. So I said, Acha, wait, these guys are legit. So I said, okay. So the guy took my number, he messaged me, he said, these are the sides, we want you to do these 2 scenes, film yourself to do them, send them over, and we will, and you know, and I'll forward it on. We want to just see if you can fit for this. It's a lead. It's a 2 lead, one, and also kind of flattering because the description was
This is the
very
next Ranveer Singh. That's the offer.
the idea was like this guy who lives in London, but he's come to
Arey,
India.
don't say the storyline.
Huh?
Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah, like, I
the
think so.
character only,
Don't say the
storyline, the
story.
character nahi. But this guy just lives overseas, not London. It could be anywhere. It's not London, guys. Not London.
Don't say the storyline.
Okay. Anyway, but it was like kind of flattering, the character description, where even Devin read, he's like, हाँ ये तू कर लेगा, ये तेरे type का
Yeah, it was like they were wanting some like a narcissistic, like good-looking person who thinks about himself and all this kind of. This so
अभी तूने मेरे को मना कर दिया, तूने अच्छा ठीक है. तो
वो इमोशनल लेवल पे कास्टिंग है.
हाँ, मैंने कहा कोई नार्सिसिज्म नजर आता है मेरे काम पे, अच्छा ठीक है, fair enough. तो
मतलब दूर से पहचान लिया धीरेन को. But I think what you were maybe trying to say is कि it's very interesting कि अगर तुम लोगों ने भी ऐसे किया, then Dhiren feel like okay, then there's possibility कि ऐसे
no,
होगा.
because I was actually very confused about how it happened. It did happen. We did the role. Devin has acting experience. Like Devin has done drama. He's very well done. Ranked number 1 India GCSEs. Like Devin's very good at that. Me, not so much at all. I haven't acted at all. So Devin sat with me, he prepared me for it, we filmed it, we did all of it. I sent it off and then यार तूने ना प्रोडक्शन हाउस बता दिया. अब मैं जो बोलना चाहता हूँ मैं बोलना नहीं चाहता क्योंकि उसकी मैं बेइज्जती नहीं करना
अरे
चाहता.
कोई नहीं यार, ठीक है.
क्या कंट्रोवर्सी हो गई
नहीं
बीच
मिलाना
में.
ना, ठीक है, अब क्या
क्योंकि
करूं?
मैं प्रोडक्शन हाउस ही बताना चाहता था क्योंकि फिर मैं बट एनीवे it was interesting because we kept like going back and forth कि तुझे मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा तुझे नहीं मिलेगा
It was
मतलब
just weird यार, randomly ऐसा हो गया, like it
बहुत
was.
ही रैंडम था. एंड आई एम लाइक ये ऐसा तो नहीं करते होंगे ये. बट यू सेड दिस तो आई एम आल्सो थिंकिंग हम लाइक मे बी ये एक्चुअली में वेला बनती होती होगी. लाइक दे एक्चुअली
Yeah. Dude, all like casting happens in so many ways. No, like we had casting director, but हम लोग ये सब भी करते रहते थे. Like Google करते रहते थे. कहीं Instagram में कुछ अच्छा लगा तो we used to share it, thinking about like okay ये रोल में ये हो सकता है. तो सब लोग मिलके करते हैं. But there is also a stage of casting which we saw, which is like the brutal stage of struggling actors. Bombay में we were. Doing a costume trial in a studio in one of those like old malls, the Hira Panna mall, जैसे सब malls होते हैं ना. So we were doing it. Fitness studio में we were just doing costume trials. Like a casting was done. This was like maybe 5 days before shoot, and this is an andheri. People saw some actors walk in, so they thought that there's an audition going on. Okay, and by the time we came out from the costume trial, there was a line of actors just waiting, hoping that there's an audition. So
oh they didn't even know.
They didn't even know. Like that's the life also. A lot of
Wow.
actors were trying to break through. So all kinds of stuff happens in casting. Like there is obviously like people cast their friends, which is like often talked about.
I mean
And otherwise, like this is the other
we
end
can
of
get
it.
into it. नहीं.
So there's nepotism and there's this. So that's the two extremes of getting cast.
And did you audition people? Like, did you properly audition people, or was it just ki you took like Anubhuti or like your perception ki if this person fits like a glove, we don't need to audition this person? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, like Anubhuti had that option of like if she wanted auditions, she called for auditions, and if she there was some of the characters we didn't audition for, like Nakul and a couple of others, but there are others whom we auditioned like, and बहुत like दो round के auditions भी हुए कुछ characters के लिए.
That would be quite interesting. Like, my only thing is like, so when मेरे को ये रहता है कि when you have to say no to a person who's good at what they do. Like, for example, ki
Yeah.
you have an actor who's actually a good actor.
There's people who said
Yeah.
no to
But just for this part doesn't
Nawazuddin.
like when I make a song,
Before he
if I have a
became
great
famous.
singer, he's a great singer,
Yeah.
but if he doesn't fit this song and I've
Yeah.
judged it wrong, I've called him, whatever, how will you
Yeah.
ever say to him कि यार कि I just feel like मुझे बुरा लग जाता है अंदर से, like if I ever
Yeah,
think of that
yeah.
situation, I'm like यार ये थोड़ा I don't want to be in that situation.
It's hard
Yeah,
to
I hate to be in that situation. बहुत ही बेकार का awkward सा moment हो जाता है. You don't really know what's the right thing to say.
But I
But,
guess the other idea would be that people who do sing and who do act and who do those things, they also realize that sometimes it's not about like not casting you is also not about you. It's just that
Yeah,
okay,
I'm sure they
solely-
understand.
yeah, like
yeah. The professionals, they'll understand. Plus, the casting director is there to like smoothen the whole process, and yeah, मतलब somehow हो
Yeah,
जाता है.
नहीं, fair enough. But it's quite cool क्योंकि मुझे अफसोस बहुत पसंद आया. Like I genuinely like the end as well, which I won't spoil for some people who have not watched it. Especially your
if you
role.
haven't like you're sitting living
Your
under a
role
rock,
was
it's been
very
a while,
interesting.
like-
Oh man,
go
I
and
love
watch
my
it.
role, dude. I kept the best role for myself.
He has a three scene role, I think. 3 scene role.
Three scene role.
And it's like all 3 scenes are like कुछ भी. This is, I think this, can I say like is this Saurav Ghosh's idea or whose ideas were these 3 scenes?
Yeah. This is fully Saurav Ghosh.
This was quite crazy. Like it's just mad. Like it's when you watch
I
the
know
show,
what you're talking about.
when you watch the show
I know
you'll
what you're
understand.
talking
It's just see the like biggest like just they're twisting, they're playing with you for no reason. Yeah, that was quite funny.
No, there were no auditions for that role.
Nepotism.
मैं डायरेक्टर हटा दूंगा. मुझे ही करना नहीं, fair enough. Well, like, anyway, we spoke quite a bit on Afsos, but it was quite fun. मेरे को बहुत interest, like I wanted to talk to you about Afsos first because I feel like comedy के बारे में तो लोग generally काफी पूछते ही होंगे. And
Yeah.
did you do I think you guys did a big round, but I don't know if you were a big part of the promotions for Afsos. Did you have to do a lot of interviews, and how was that cycle like, the marketing PR cycle of the show?
Oh, the marketing PR cycle of the show was just comedians helping out the show. Trust me, like that was all of it because it was not a big show. it's not an Amazon original, right? It's an Amazon exclusive. It's like works a
Hmm.
little differently, and we were just happy to be on Amazon. So, but it's not going to be promoted like a Comic Stan or like a Mirzapur. So, but so that was the part in the marketing. But what it gave us also was freedom to make the show however we wanted, because the focus wasn't on, like, if there is so much money that's going to be riding on marketing, then the producers, the platform will get a bigger say in what film you're making,
Creative
usko
control.
change karo,
Hmm.
in the creative control.
Hmm.
But because our show was like little under the radar, we had full dude, एक feedback नहीं आया है Amazon से या कोई भी producer से till the whole thing was made. Like बनने के बाद वो focus group में feedback आना चालू हुआ, but तब कुछ हो नहीं सकता because the thing is
ये
made
सही है,
completely.
ये सही है, मतलब लास्ट में तुम उनको सारा डाउट दिलाते रहो अगर देना, बट दिया, लाइक हाउ वाज द फीडबैक तो जब बाद में आया, कुछ था, कुछ लाइक एनीथिंग दैट
That's dude. That's another like podcast actually, like talking about how feedback works in this industry. Because focus groups are there, and it's very corporatized, but it's very
Hmm.
difficult, to like. This market research movies में मतलब is tricky business, right? Like you can get it wrong so often. It's such a subjective thing. So like how can you say for sure कि ये है ये? So they try. Focus group बहुत बड़ा scam है basically, मैं ये बोलूँगा पहले. It's just absolute. It has no value and कोई accountability नहीं है. Like
It's like
कुछ
exit polls, huh? Focus
yeah,
group
it's
like
fully
exit
exit
polls.
polls. है ना. आजकल तो यार फोकस ग्रुप्स, अब पता नहीं है फोकस ग्रुप्स का जो बिजनेस डेवलपमेंट ऑफिसर्स है ना, जो सेल्स करते हैं, उन लोग बहुत अच्छा है डूड. उन लोग कहाँ कहाँ फोकस ग्रुप्स बेच रहे हैं. अभी मेरे को पता चला है कि देयर आर ओटीटीज हु आर डूइंग फोकस ग्रुप्स फॉर स्क्रिप्ट्स एट द स्क्रिप्ट लेवल. लाइक
Wow.
दैट इज
स्क्रिप्ट
सो
सुना,
बैड.
या लाइक स्क्रिप्ट सुनाओ, लाइक एक ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग भेजो एक नरेशन का कि ये है हमारी कहानी, एंड वो सुनेंगे लोग, एंड देन दे विल बी लाइक ये अच्छा
बाप
नहीं
रे.
लगा, ये अच्छा, ये क्या
बट वो
चल रहा है.
That's
इतना
so
किल
demeaning,
करता
right?
होगा बिकॉज तुम किसी नॉन क्रिएटिव को, हाउ कैन यू expect them to visualize what it would end up becoming? You have to have a creative to visualize that. Like if I tell
Yeah, yeah.
someone कि मेरे गाने का आइडिया ये है सिर्फ वर्ड्स बता के, बट मैं म्यूजिक नहीं दिखा रहा उनको, जो गाना नहीं बनाता, दिस इज समवन हु जस्ट लिसंस टू म्यूजिक, बी वेरी हार्ड फॉर देम टू विजुअलाइज व्हाट इज गोना एंड अप बिकमिंग.
Yeah, and this is not even the end product.
या
Like this is कोई नरेशन सुना रहे, उसके बाद पूरा कहानी बदल ही जाएगा जब लिखा. It's just,
रीराइट्स.
but
या
but that's the, like financial side of it. I think like when money is involved, then like they want to have these assurances. Focus groups and market research can be used so well, but currently it's just used with a marketing point of view. Like
या
उसमें मत दे वो insights, or like how to make that a better product से ज़्यादा how to sell it more is the question of the focus group. So that doesn't really work. Like focus groups देखने के बाद मेरे को इतने अच्छे अच्छे ideas आए थे जिससे like I could like add it to the show and make it slightly better. Like we all, Anubhuti, all the writers, we were hooked to the focus groups because it was giving us so much insights. But yeah, but it's like just misinterpreted completely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would always like, I've done focus groups not for film, but like I did some like in Australia पैसों के लिए, because they pay you like nice.
Yeah,
Early
yeah,
when I didn't have a job, so I used to do
yeah,
I would go and I would do like $50 you would get or something like that. They would have to give two
yeah,
3 hours or something, and I've done those. And sometimes like the products would be just like, it would be good, like you can see how this can be beneficial because they would do them to make the product better, and then some
huh,
would be like you say to try and see where do we sell this better. एंड
yeah,
प्रोडक्ट चाहे जितना रद्दी हो, वो ढूंढ रहे कि इसको बेच कहाँ सकते हैं, मैं तो
yeah.
इसको फिर तुम लाई क्यों रहे हो उसके अंदर. एंड आई थिंक
Yeah,
दैट्स
yeah.
व्हाट कम्स टू द.
The question behind it is the approach is only wrong. Like उधर ही, and movies जो एक like इतना subjective है, उसमें तुम कैसे बोल सकते हो ये सब अहमदाबाद में 50 to 60 year olds को अच्छा लगेगा. Like it's just rubbish. ऐसा जो रिपोर्ट्स में आता है उनका.
बहुत ही,
And
और बहुत ही डाइवर्स है यार इंडिया की ऑडियंस तो, लाइक इट्स इनसेन. जस्ट हमारी ऑडियंस में ही जितने लोगों को यहाँ पे यू कैन रीच, I feel like even small markets in India are big markets because
yeah,
we've
yeah.
lived in Australia. 25 मिलियन लोग हैं वहाँ पे, बॉम्बे में उतने लोग हैं.
हाँ यार.
But at any point
Absolutely.
ऐसा perception तुम्हें लगा कि कभी कभी I feel like there's this whole divide like in film and this web series and stuff also, like what's mass and what's this sort of niche, like classy kind
Hmm.
of like whatever they're trying to do. And does it ever come across like these executives and stuff, they are thinking like this कि these guys don't know, they are just making something creative artistic type, इनको नहीं
Hmm.
पता कि how will we actually, कोई देखेगा नहीं तो क्या करेंगे.
Yeah. I think that's where it comes from, and they also have an important role because like it's after all like a collaborative product. But so that's why I'm saying like focus groups should be utilized, and the insights should be taken to like if the product becomes better, then it will automatically be watched by more people. Like that's the whole
हाँ,
idea that I am coming from.
it's like a
So
supportive part of the process.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's a supportive flood. Like leave the creative call to the creative people. Uh, the director. In a movie, it's always the director. In a show, it could be the director or the showrunner. But and like try to make it better together. Like sometimes in focus groups, they just ask for changes that like can really spoil the whole thing.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of stories of like really popular films who were like like who proved the focus groups wrong. Like a lot of popular movies and shows जिस जहाँ पे focus group आया था कि ये तो नहीं होगा, इसका ending change करो, ये करो. But those are like one of the like biggest hits
Selling one's
of
the biggest
recent
one,
times.
yeah.
So there's no accountability. So like if even if they get something wrong,
Yeah.
the creator or the director has more to lose than them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the hard part. How do you make someone who doesn't have anything to lose make the decisions or less to
Yeah,
lose? You need,
yeah,
but then Delhi crime would be something that would have also, I think, whatever's gone right with it, especially with the difference between what Devin said, the film and the OTT. Delhi crime goes and does wins an Emmy, right?
yeah,
And they do these amazing things, and clearly whatever that team was, executives
yeah,
included,
yeah,
was very well done, like the way they
Yeah.
did
yeah,
that collaboration. And that's probably
yeah.
the
The executives have like a equal like part to play in the making of something. So yeah, absolutely. But like we should just remember like who's there for what. Like
hmm.
some people are there for the creative calls, some people are
Yeah.
there for the financial calls. It has to coexist. Sometimes like that doesn't happen, and that's where like problems start.
Okay.
But
Okay.
we were like actually, so what I was saying is we got very lucky. We got no marketing budget, but we got 100% freedom. That's impossible to get. Like
Hmm.
I was telling this to Dhruv Sehgal is acting in
Yeah.
Afsos, the creator of Little Things, and we actually were working, next cabin, like in a co-working space. Like he was in the next cabin, and over there, like that's how like I had pitched Afsos to him, and later on he told me that how much independence did you have? He asked me, and I told him like, I can't like मेरे को बोलने में शर्म आ रहा है, but 100%.
Hmm.
Like and he's like ये तो
Hmm.
होता ही नहीं है.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Just impossible. So that was why Afsos was so enjoyable for me because nobody interfered at all.
नहीं, that's
But I
fair.
guess that would be a good way to go forward also, because now, because if it does well, it does exceeds expectations, then you're like, okay, now maybe they would give you that freedom,
Yeah,
or
they
at least
trust you
90
Yeah,
more.
or 80
They
percent.
trust you more.
yeah. That's like a benchmark for me. Like ki, okay, this is like we just saw how something should be done. So I'd be like hoping to replicate that at some point.
Yeah, no,
Nice.
that
I'll
that is
quickly
great.
read a super chat first. And the super chat says focus group should be used to absorb the feedback, not to hack the audience. Or great talk, Devin and Derayne. Love Anirban's viewpoint. That's from the Big Fat Panda who's given us 1,000 rupees. Thank you so much, Big Fat Panda.
Thank you.
And there was a
Thank
guy who
you.
was saying something. I want to read his comment. I didn't want to interrupt the flow. Vrinda Basu says, on my birthday, I had traveled 3 hours to go to Anirban's show at Science City. And I messaged him on Insta and he was so nice. He met me backstage. He didn't have to, but he still did. Best birthday.
Oh, thank you so much.
Do you okay? Should I be? They can be like, do you remember this?
No, I remember the show, but just happy to hear this.
Yeah. And there was this, this weird comment in the chat. It's like zero dislikes, and then immediately one person just disliked it to that.
क्यों मतलब करो तुम
Yeah.
उनको insight.
But guys, please do write stuff in the chat. I mean, I do look for it, and if I see something interesting or something that your relation with Anirban or your connection with him, I will definitely bring it up. So keep doing that.
Yeah, that's Devin's job.
Yeah. But anyway, let's talk more about comedy. I guess we covered Afsos and like this corporate sort of culture in this way quite good. But actually, before doing that, I'll ask one last question. Ki, in this entire process that you made Afsos, now you're writing this show on divorce.
Movie.
What? Sorry?
Movie.
Yeah, movie. Okay, movie. What is one thing that you would like? One thing you're wary of, or like one thing you're definitely going to avoid or change in the process of from inception to sort of completion?
From the Afsos process.
Yeah, like just your experience कि अफसोस के साथ जैसा आपको फील हुआ उस हिसाब से आप क्या बदलोगे इसके लिए?
तो मैं तो कुछ नहीं बदलूंगा. Exactly. Everything just like happened how it should have happened. So I'm actually trying to like, but the learning from Afsos has been the importance of planning. Like that's the differentiator in success and failure of a show. Like if you have a great story, a great script, but you just did not plan it well, it won't come out. So yeah, my learning is pre-production में at least like 3 से 4 महीना time मिलना चाहिए, तभी जाके बनेगा कुछ.
I assume that the way you've attacked it also would be very different. I think it would be not very, but maybe slightly different to how you would write a show. Because now you have like an hour,
Yeah.
2 hours to complete the whole story, whereas a show you have a couple of
Yeah, we are
episodes.
still figuring it out actually. Like, the show was actually a little easier to write in that sense that we knew कि okay, there are 8 episodes, so we were like just thinking ये episode में ये होगा, so there's a starting, middle, end. ये episode में ये होगा, so we are already like we know the milestones, we know the points. In a film, we have it थोड़ा बहुत like first half, second half, the 3 acts and all, but still we are figuring out. So yeah, episode breakdown लिखना बहुत आसान होता था कि हाँ ये episode में ये होता है, फिर ये होता है,
Plus,
next
like
episode में ये
time
होता
constraint भी छोटा हो जाता है ना, तो उसमें
है. हाँ
इतना
हाँ.
लंबा लंबा लिखने की जरूरत नहीं होती.
या तो यहाँ पे बैलेंस हम लोग अभी लाइक वी आर इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग, अभी तक हुआ नहीं है.
Fair
That's
enough, fair
interesting.
enough. And
Yeah.
let me just check the chat quickly. Chat is everything's fine. Just having their side conversation, it seems. But anyway, so let's talk a bit more about comedy because we didn't get in too much into like talking about comedy at all. कि my whole thing is कि जैसे like do you like what is your aim in terms of comedy? क्योंकि अभी मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जैसे I asked this to Webber also. I feel that जैसे सबका जो पहला दूसरा सेट होता है ना, that kind of wave has happened कि सबने अपना पहला दूसरा सेट कर लिया and then I feel वो similar topics पे सबने लिख लिया and now
या
थोड़ा अब एक हो गया है कि now you really have to be creative to stand out and काफी बार like I was actually talking to my dad the other day as well and he was saying कि I really used to like this comedian, I won't name the comedian, but after like his third set I felt like he has nothing new to say.
या
So, like, what is your take on this? Like, how do you break this barrier? And do you think that this is happens in your industry? Is like something you've observed or?
it does. I think it definitely happens, and it's a thing that I have in mind also, that ऐसा ना हो जाए कभी कभी, like once you like after you write a joke, कभी कभी ऐसा लगता है कि अच्छा ये मतलब doesn't fit with like the rest of it. So yeah, it's something that exists for sure, but I think that we have to just be patient. Like sometimes like when you try to do a lot of things in very quick time, like ये होने का chances थोड़ा ज़्यादा है. So like my idea is to be just like थोड़ा patient, but मैं थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही patient हो गया हूँ. बहुत दिन से कुछ डाला नहीं
न्यूजीलैंड जाने वाले हो.
है. Yeah.
What's
But
the? Yep. Sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, tell me.
I was gonna ask you what's the long, because I remember Webber saying that there's a joke that he I think spent 6-7 months on. So and he was like, well, developing and trying it
Yeah.
out. What is the longest one you think you've spent time just trying to get कि यार इस idea को मैं completion में like time लग गया उसको कर लाने में? कुछ लंबा वाला है कि it happened a little quicker?
है बहुत बहुत लंबा वाला है. कहीं कहीं कभी कभी लंबा टाइम लगता है एक लाइन कंस्ट्रक्ट करने में. लाइक व्हाट्स जस्ट द बेस्ट वे टू से अ सिंगल लाइन. कभी कभी बहुत टाइम लगता है टू मेक अ
Premise.
होल बिट.
Hmm.
या which is like a combination of a lot of jokes. So both take time. Like कभी कभी ये भी होता है कि like you say a joke for the first time and it just perfectly lands, and then you change nothing about it. So but that happens very rarely. Mostly it's like it takes time to build into something. Yeah, I had a bit on Kashmir, okay, which is one of my favorite bits. Okay, and that I was like, I had written it when I was living in Calcutta, I think like around 13 or something. And बॉम्बे आया, उसके बाद मैं बॉम्बे में भी ट्राई किया, तो 4 साल हो गया है वो बन ही नहीं रहे. Then around 2017 I figured it out. Yeah, okay, and I put it in my special. ठीक है, टेक इट इजी का पार्ट है वो. फिर टेक इट इजी इतना लंबा चल गया, लाइक 72 मिनट्स, वो 60 मिनट का शो
काटना पड़ा.
रिकॉर्डिंग के टाइम. तो बहुत मजा आ रहा था मेरे को, तो मैं बहुत रिफ किया, तो लंबा शो हो गया. और मेरे को लंबा शो नहीं डालना था. आई वाज लाइक कि मेरे को 60 मिनट्स के आसपास ही डालना है. तो वो मैं कट किया. ठीक है, तो फाइनली 4 साल बाद वो बिट बना, स्पेशल में डाला और स्पेशल से फिर निकाल दिया. जस्ट बिकॉज आई फेल्ट कि थोड़ा उसके बिना जो शो है, इट्स लाइक अ बेटर वर्जन ऑफ द शो दैट आई लाइक.
Wow,
लंबा नहीं है,
that is also like कि yeah, that's like इतना कर करके एंड में काट ही दिया हमने यार. ठीक
काट
है.
दिया. और अभी नाउ देन आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग इट इन अ डिफरेंट वे, बिकॉज अभी कॉन्टेक्स्ट बदल गया ना. वो शो का पार्ट था, वो पॉलिटिकल था. अभी मैं लाइक नॉट पॉलिटिकल सेट में बीच में कश्मीर आ जाता हूँ. आई लाइक स्टार्टेड
नहीं,
डूइंग इट इन अ
but
डिफरेंट वे.
like 15 minutes set was नेताजी.
हाँ हाँ.
नॉन पॉलिटिकल तो वो completely नहीं था.
नहीं मतलब मैं वो बोला, कश्मीर जब टेक इट इजी में था एकदम लाइक सेफ था, क्योंकि आसपास भी सब पॉलिटिक्स.
अच्छा.
उसके बाद मैं सडनली लाइक हाफ एन आवर सेट कर रहा हूँ बैंगलोर में, और 15 मिनट कॉर्पोरेट के बारे में बात कर रहा हूँ, 15 मिनट कश्मीर. थोड़ा वियर्ड वो बैलेंस था. बट आई फिगर्ड इट आउट हाउ टू डू इट. But then again, like COVID hit and I've now forgotten it. So again, I have to. So that
You don't
that is
write
the
them
joke.
down.
Huh?
You don't write them down or like record them in a
I
way
have
where
I have it written down, but like पुराना वर्जन है, like you know, जो चेंज हुआ है वो शायद नहीं, मतलब होगा कोई नोट्स में लिखा होगा, बट पता भी नहीं कि वो नोट किधर होगा. तो अभी
मैं अपने
हाँ.
फोन में मेरे फोन डिवाइडेड है क्योंकि मैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया में आई यूज्ड टू डू स्टैंड अप बट आई ओनली डिड लाइक और एट अ I started it as therapy for me because I was just getting frustrated with things. So I said I'm just going to go and stand up को थोड़ी freedom मिलती है तो बकवास करूँगा. तो मैंने उस mindset से शुरू किया था कि I just want to release some of this creative angst. And I love stand up. Like I've loved it since I was a kid. I think almost as much as I love music, maybe more at times. So when I started doing stand up about a year ago, and my phone is like divided in notes like Indian music, English music, comedy. And then when I started doing those the funny videos, then I started doing comedy skits. But I like write down every premise because मेरे को डर लगता है कि वहाँ पे मुझे comedian ने बोलता है काफी वहाँ का known comedian है Brad Oaks. He told me, he said you should always write whatever funny comes out of your mouth because the problem is when you get older you're gonna forget all of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. Yeah, I also write, but like a lot of times I don't write also.
I know, like, and sometimes it slips your mind and then यार वो उस दिन मैंने एक funny चीज बोली थी वो funny हो सकती है मुझे याद नहीं आ रही है. Like a
Dude,
guy
Melbourne
thought.
stand-up is great, dude. Like, how was your experience? Because I was there for a month, and it was aspirational.
Melbourne stand up is interesting when I was doing it. So I didn't do it for a very long period. I actually started and I was doing well for a couple of, I think a month or 2 months where I went and did a lot of open mics and I did stuff over here and there. Then I had to drop back because our music started going a little crazy. So I had to put more time towards music. And हमारी नैया तो उसमें जा रही है वैसे पैसों की. तो मैंने कहा अगर पैसा बनाएंगे तो उधर से बनाएंगे. कॉमेडी से शायद मैं अभी बना ना पाऊँ. तो I had to make, but in those 2 months, I think the Melbourne Comedy Festival was supposed to happen in those 2 months, and there was a lot of lead up work happening to it. The one thing that was really cool to me was that एक तो सब कुछ booked out होता है तो तुम्हें वो 5 मिनट भी बहुत ही मुश्किल से मिलते हैं. तो उसके लिए you have to form your little bit of cliques a little bit where you people kind of know you a little bit, and thankfully I had figured that out a little कि I could say कि यार मुझे 5 मिनट दे दे मैं आगे अपना ये try कर लेता हूँ. And the other thing was that it being, see, India is India, and India के अपने उसमें भी there would be differences in, I guess, what certain people can say and what, like you said कि बंगाली नेताजी पे कर सकता है जो पंजाबी नहीं कर सकता है ना. वहाँ पे similar ये था मेरे को कि क्योंकि मैं इंडियन था ब्राउन था so okay. I can make racist jokes. I had jokes on Sri Lankans, Pakistanis, like मैं बहुत उल्टी सीधी चीजें बोल रहा था and again frustration से या फिर जो भी था maybe I didn't completely understand.
मेरे को डर लगता था.
Devin would be like ये please इंडिया में मत करियो because it can be, but I'm like Indian centric है इंडिया को तो पसंद आना चाहिए but
इंडिया में तो कर
मैं actually मैं उनको हिंदी में ट्रांसलेट करना चाहता थोड़ा क्योंकि हिंदी में भी कभी कभी ना वो फील आता है देने में. But that was the thing. So but a lot of white friends of mine weren't able to explore those avenues where
Yeah,
where
yeah.
my favorite comedian at the moment is Andrew Schultz, who doesn't care he's white, because he
Yeah.
will say किसको भी मजाक उड़ाना है. और मुझे वो अच्छा लगता है कि तू अभी लोग white people को hate करते हैं वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज में, तो like white people devils ये वो
Yeah,
you know
yeah, yeah,
all of
yeah,
that, and
yeah,
he's one who's like pushing back towards
yeah,
and I really like that. Australia is the
yeah,
same thing where it was very hard for like so many comedians. They would be like, "Yeah, I can't make that joke, or I can't make this joke because it'll be racially insensitive." मैंने कहा, "It's funny. Indian पे joke है, मार, मैं बोल रहा हूँ तेरे को, permission दे रहा हूँ तुम्हारे joke, बहुत funny joke है." या फिर मैं gays पे नहीं मार सकता. Like I can't make a gay joke because I had a gay joke, and I couldn't make that because there were a couple of gay comedians there who said you probably shouldn't do this because you're not, and it can be
yeah, dude,
insensitive.
Australia is very sensitive. It's a good place for stand-up, of course, but it is very politically correct that way because in like I was actually supposed to come for the Melbourne festival. I was
Last
on the
year,
festival. This year also I was supposed to come. It
oh,
got cancelled.
this year they
Yeah,
got cancelled. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And last year I was there, and yeah, every show starts with that message where they like apologize to the indigenous people of Australia,
That
Yeah,
and
that is there, yeah.
like yeah, no, I
everything.
understand. Like it's very interesting, and I appreciate it also. But it's also a sign of like how politically correct they are.
But it's
Yeah.
not
So
just shows, it's everything starts with
In the
that. So
cricket
in our
match,
school, our assemblies we used to start with that when I
in
used to go to school in
really,
अभी
Australia.
इंडिया वर्सेस ऑस्ट्रेलिया क्रिकेट मैच हुआ जो फर्स्ट मैच
uh,
था, तो उसमें दे
uh,
ऑल डिड अ थिंग फॉर द एबोरिजिनल्स एंड इवन द इंडियन टीम वाज देयर इन दैट सेरेमनी.
oh,
Even
okay,
their
okay.
jerseys are Aboriginal
Yeah.
designed. The Australian jersey that they're wearing right now is the Aboriginal. So they're
Even in my
trying to.
lecture notes होते थे ना, so the lecture recording would start with saying, I would first like to acknowledge that the land I'm on belongs to
Yeah.
the custodians and the
Yeah,
Aboriginals. So
yeah. Oh man,
that's how it starts.
that's
Yeah.
very interesting, man. It's a nice thing,
Hmm.
and sometimes before a comedy show, it's you don't know how to feel about it.
It can
ये
make
सब
you
तो ठीक है,
anxious,
but
right? कि
jokes
यार
मार
मैं
सकते हैं हम कि
ये वाले joke अब
नहीं?
rethink करने पड़ेंगे.
Like, what if my opening joke is on aborigine? So like, you know,
But that's the thing. Like, so okay, again, when I went to the Andrew Schultz joke, Andrew
Show.
Schultz show in Melbourne, because I went to see his shows. I met him, great dude. His shows, none of this happened, and he was making jokes on Aboriginals, left, right, and center, like oh, idhar se aa raha, udhar se aa raha. Very funny. And I'm like, this is what I like. In Australia though, see they have a history which is a little complicated, and it's they like to, it is different to what black people have gone through in America. It's quite slightly different, but there are issues there which they're trying to
no,
correct.
no, I get it.
But
I get it.
sometimes I look at it, I'm like, ये थोड़ा symbolic लगता है मेरे को ये,
Uh,
if this is something that you really are trying to work towards, I don't like symbolic victories. I'm like, you want more real victories where there are actually things happening, and they are doing that. I'm not going to say that they're not. Like, they are
no, no,
definitely
they are like I actually found it. I did not like hate it or something. I just found it very
interesting.
interesting.
यहाँ पे नहीं
Like,
करते ना
wow.
कुछ भी.
हाँ, यहाँ पे किससे माफी मांगे? I think that's
यहाँ पे लाहौर में करना, पाकिस्तान में करना चाहिए. With this land used to belong to the.
mass joke.
I have.
वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करके बना दूँ.
ये अच्छा है सर, ये स्टैंड अप प्रेमिस अच्छा है वैसे ये.
ये सही है.
हाँ. एक क्वेश्चन थोड़ा सा साइड हट के आया है, मैं क्विकली पूछ लेता हूँ क्योंकि किसी ने चैट में पूछा है कि व्हाट्स Anirban's opinion on why the comedy scene is so slow in Kolkata unlike other Indian cities where it is really booming.
Man, I don't really know.
Another
The thing
podcast.
is, I just feel that Calcutta has a very different audience from the rest of the country. Because Calcutta is one of those places where you try to finish school, college, and then you leave, right? So those people are comedy audiences, but now they're coming to shows in Bangalore, or they're coming to shows in Pune, they're coming to shows in Mumbai, whereas in Calcutta only the people who remain unke upar, like the pressure is. So that is one factor commercially why I feel Calcutta mein comedy doesn't take off. And it's a bit of that, no, like when itna opportunities come hai, so like people who are trying also get like so less opportunities, so the development is slower.
Because I would feel like sense of humor would be pretty good there, because I've known Bengalis to be more open-minded actually.
यो
Towards-
वाला इंटेलेक्चुअल क्या था वो, इनका भी तो बेटा है वो, इंटेलेक्चुअल कैपिटल.
Intellectual ढाका. but कैलकाटा का जो ओपन माइक सीन है ना, हमेशा से it has the most wildest comics that you can ever imagine. Okay, like it's always the most diverse. Like I've open mic'd in Delhi and in Bombay, and बाकी cities में actually कभी-कभी ऐसा लगता है कि a lot of comics sound the same. Not in Calcutta. Calcutta में सब like अलग अलग ही है. ये कोई तलवार लेके एक सेट कर रहा है, कोई जेल जा चुका है, and like it's a very diverse scene. सब तरह के लोग हैं, very funny. But वही audience
I
बहुत
think
कम.
the word you're looking for is dangerous. Diverse.
ये तो गुड़गांव वाला सीन लग रहा है एक्चुअली. ये कलकत्ता नहीं, गुड़गांव में होती है ऐसी चीजें.
It's like it's dangerous but also cute. You know, it's that kind of a scene.
Yeah, I would assume like they, but that's, I think Vaibhav also. I'd asked this to Vaibhav as well, where I'd said that when you started out doing stand up, did you ever feel that there were certain rooms or certain places where ये टाइप की कॉमेडी नहीं कर पाऊंगा मैं, क्योंकि यहाँ के जो ऑडियंस है वो थोड़े इसको नहीं सहेंगे, बट यू वुड गो टू सर्टेन प्लेसेस वेयर यू वुड बी एबल टू बी थोड़ा खुल के, लाइक यू आर सेइंग, लाइक अगर वहाँ डाइवर्सिटी ऐसी है एंड थोड़ा ओपन भी है, आई एम अज्यूमिंग कि तुम कोलकाता जाके बहुत ही उल्टे सीधे चीजें कर सकते हो, कह सकते हो.
हाँ, लाइक कैलकाटा में हम लोग जब कॉमेडी कर रहे थे, वी हैड अ ग्रेट टाइम. लाइक मजा आता था, ऑल्दो लाइक ऑडियंस कम था, बट बहुत ही वाइब्रेंट सा सीन था. सुमित सौरभ, पता है ना, सुमित
हाँ.
सौरभ एक्चुअली कैलकाटा में कॉमेडी स्टार्ट किया था. वो आता था 3 घंटे का बस राइड वन वे, देन डू लाइक 4 minutes एंड देन गो बैक.
सही है
यू नो,
यार,
सो
आई लव इट.
बंद के दिन भी वो फोन पे बात कर रहा है मेरे से कि ट्रक में बैठ के आ जाऊं क्या, लाइक वो वाला लेवल का लाइक कॉमेडी सीन था. तो मजा आता था.
वो तो है यार.
But,
I'm very curious to.
There
I'm
is
also
there
very
is
curious to see what to do over in India, because I'm also kind of itching, because I've been wanting to get back into doing comedy, and I've said कि जब इंडिया आऊंगा तो मैं शुरू करूंगा, कोशिश करूंगा फिर से.
या दिल्ली, you are in Delhi, right?
yeah.
अरे dude, दिल्ली में तो बहुत
दिल्ली में कोरोना भी बहुत है.
हाँ.
मुझे उससे भी थोड़ा बच के रहना पड़ेगा. लाइक अभी
आराम से.
हमारा शूट है ना एक, तो मैं आई एम जस्ट सेइंग कि वो
हाँ,
शूट
हाँ.
खत्म हो जाए फिर मैं इसमें घुसूंगा.
अरे
या
शूट से ज्यादा
time
कोविड
time
खत्म हो जाए पहले फिर.
stand up
हाँ.
तो रहेगा.
एक क्वेश्चन आया है with from your friend Anirban, who we also know he's the owner of Habitat, Balraj Ghai, and he said कि wait, let me find it. He says, Anirban, please share about that wild experience where a drunk lady didn't let you perform.
Oh, Balraj has all these producer like, you know, friendly questions.
The insights.
TRP.
This happened in Calcutta. I was performing in Swiss Hotel in near the airport, and udhar so there was like a new nightclub of a new 5-star hotel. So udhar matlab it wasn't a very popular place yet. So they were like trying to do comedy to like build up the brand. So some 30 people came and some टेलीग्राफ और प्रेस वेस आए थे. लाइक हम लोग को कैलकाटा में बहुत कवरेज मिलता था, ठीक है, टेलीग्राफ, बिकॉज उधर और कुछ हो नहीं रहा था. लाइक वी वर ऑन द लाइक a friend of ours called Stuti, she was in Times of India, and she was so supportive of the comedy scene. Every 2 days would see our photo front page of Kolkata Times. We are all like, we are
सौरभ
making
गांगुली ने बड़े टाइम से शर्ट नहीं उतारी, कुछ हो नहीं.
इतना अजीब लगता था क्योंकि हम कॉमेडी से कमा रहे कुछ लाइक 2,000-3,000 रुपया पूरा महीने में, ठीक है, लेकिन फोटो आ रहा 5 बार लाइक बड़ा सा, ठीक है. तो शी प्रमोटेड द सीन सो मच, एंड like she has a role in whatever like Calcutta comics have done. She has like a huge role in that. So और वैसे मतलब like बाकी न्यूज़पेपर्स भी काफी like सपोर्ट करते थे, तो they had come for this show, so it was like an important show. We were like कि हम लोग पेपर में होने वाले हैं, so we'll do it properly and like we'll impress them. 30 people show, not a huge show. घोष था, मैं था, I think वैभव नहीं था उसमें, and some other comics, and then one girl, and it's happening at in the evening. It's like still daylight outside. तो ऐसा नहीं कि रात को 10 बजे कुछ शाम को 4:30-5 बजे हो रहा है, and a drunk lady like walks in, and she starts like screaming at me, saying that this is a nightclub and like, you know, you can't be doing a show. It's like my time to dance and all that.
Priorities.
And she's like right next to the stage. पूरा audience देख के हंस रहा है, but she's getting like really pissed off at that. It's becoming a spectacle, and it's a great opportunity for me because I have the mic also. So whatever I'm saying, like kill, like एक word बोलो kill, and it's like, you know, infuriating her further. So she just comes on stage and like takes a full swing at me, and I duck. Okay, I ducked, and then she takes the mic stand and just like throws it away, to the wall. The mic stand breaks.
बाप रे.
Then she goes to the bar, and वो bar काउंटर पे जितने भी प्लेट्स वेट्स थे सब वैसे जैसे पिक्चर में होता है ना कि सब ऐसे गिरा दिया and everybody is just alarmed and we are all watching and the bodyguards are there but they are male bodyguards so they can't
They
touch
can't
her.
take it out.
They are now calling female bodyguard की तरह वो दूसरे विंग में उधर से भाग के आ रहे हैं
अरे बाप.
ये पूरा spectacle like my mic is on so I'm like just cracking
That
jokes
would be
and
like comedy gold though, like at that point.
it was
That's like, this
insane.
seems like a Adam Sandler movie का scene.
It's incredible. इतना अच्छा शो कभी नहीं गया. Then the show was like then female bodyguards came and I was escorted to another room. She was escorted to another room. The show was suspended, and then like she will not say like sorry वॉरी हम लोग को कुछ बोलना भी नहीं था but like बुलवाना भी नहीं था but कुछ तो sorry वॉरी like hotel management was asking her to say which is not required. Just throw her out and do the show. ठीक है इधर वो सब और कुछ चाहिए नहीं हम लोग को. But that just went on for like 20 minutes and then the show started again and it was a great show because everybody had that experience together. So after that when the show started it was unlike any other show I've done.
Yeah,
It's
suddenly
just
like you guys are all in on the joke. Like it's already
yeah
there and like अब कुछ भी होगा उसपे bill
Yeah,
फाड़
you
दो.
can always crack a
Yeah,
joke on that. Yeah.
it's like we have just seen a movie together.
अब discussion time.
इसका वीडियो भी है मेरे पास.
Balraj was saying that I'll write it in the comments link after the video ends, if that's allowed. I'm not sure.
yeah
So he's saying he'll put it.
It's already up.
yeah it's like a Facebook post कुछ 7 सेकंड का वीडियो है. मेरे बाकी कॉमिक्स लोग मेरे को बचाने के अलावा like शूट कर रहे थे and the lady is like just like swinging and you can see me ducking on
This is
stage.
amazing.
Well, these are the kind of experiences that give you confidence to write something like Afsosa. That's
yeah,
chaos.
yeah. It's hilarious, dude. It's hilarious.
That's very nice. Let me just
Oh,
make
comedy gold, man. Comedy gold on that. I think this is like Kevin Hart के भी ऐसे कुछ stories है ना पुराने. When I was he used to talk उसके book में he talks about someone threw a buffalo wing at him. Like while he's like on stage, he's like shut up, buffalo wing. सीधा उसके मुंह में पड़ता है. Like this is like equivalent to that stuff. It's like but कोई बंदे ने उसको कुछ बोला get off the stage तो वो कहता है who is it? वो अपना जल छोड़. बंदा खड़ा हुआ बड़ा सा कहता है it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, whenever something like this happens, so I used to enjoy. There was a time when I used to enjoy some amount of heckling because I just want that element in the show. Once that element comes, sometimes
Crowd
it
comes on your
becomes-
side. Now, if you crack it, then the crowd's on your side. I feel like
Yeah,
once you made fun of someone, the crowd is like, हाँ बेटा आप कोशिश करो. Like,
मैं तो ये CLC में जब शोज करता था तो मैं जाता था ये सोच के कि आज हेकलर मिल जाए मजा ही आ जाएगा.
सीधा जिमी कार वाले स्पिरिट के साथ जाता तो अंदर आप सबको गालियां देंगे.
Okay, there is this comment on the chat, so I'll just say it out loud because Anirban is also Bengali. Here, this someone called SN Gap G. He says, I live in West Bengal, and I think Bengali people are more inclined to traditional Bengali culture than culture globalization.
So what do we do with that comment?
But it's Bengali culture, talwar bazi comedians.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so because we are also like Bengalis, no? Like so, there are a lot of people. No, I'm telling you, when I do a show in Bangalore, for example, there was a time I used to like ask them, hey, how many people are from Calcutta, and like 30% people would raise their hands, and like they're in Bangalore. So yeah, it's just a matter of how commerce is in that city. That's it.
So when that Netaji joke, when you were telling that Netaji joke, and in that you talk about how you were actually getting threats, that was very real, right? Like it was a full blown situation that was happening. Now in those situations, what is the like? Because I don't know what that would be like, and I'm bracing for that because I know it will happen at one point in my life.
No, please
knowing
don't do
me.
that.
But like I would like to ask you, like when something like that happens, it could probably be very surreal, also very taken back, and then you also might on some level did you go like take it seriously or were you like bakwas nahi sab?
No, I took it very seriously. That's why I had to put the video down. So
Oh yeah, you did say that you put the video down. Yeah. Yes, you did say
I
that.
took took off the video. That was my big most viral video of that time. यार वो तो 12 घंटे में हटाना पड़ा मेरे को, फिर वो स्पेशल में डाल दिया. So yeah, it was real, and like the thing is, every comedian has faced it, like since, and like some people like I at that point I remember also that while I was like deleting the video, उस time पे इतना toxic नहीं था honestly, like online. This was 2017 I think, and this was not even like Bhakts and BJP. This is just like Trinamool Congress I think, again from Bengal, and so not that political in nature also, but मम्मी को phone गया था and all that, and at that point I was advised कि okay, just take down the video. At this point that's the best thing to do. A lot of comics also told me, but when I like deleted the video, it totally felt like a defeat. Like
Yeah.
I just like did not know what to make of it, and like on my drive back home I was just thinking about it. It feels like a defeat, and now like what to do with this. So yeah, it's real, and like thankfully for me, like I found a way to use it in something that I like, how I wanted to, and address all of it and take it easy. But yeah,
Yeah, it's
I don't know how to deal with it. It's just like some like it does happen on to me on Twitter, where a lot of trolling is going on, and then I just don't feel like going to that platform again. So
yeah.
then I like unfollow everybody and just try to not have that in my life.
But this was also like on some real like people are calling and doing stuff like there. It's not just ki comments डाल दी और खत्म हो गई बात. Like it's more like you're saying this was very in your space kind of situation, like घर तक type तुम पहुंच गए हो in a way.
Yeah.
And that is
That is the bit that's really wrong.
and
Right?
that's the part where I'm like, that's where you start questioning कि यार ये freedom of speech का क्या हुआ, like ये
But
मतलब
अभी तो ये reality है dude. उस time पे तो it was an like exception when it happened
अब
in
तो पक्का होगा वो.
2017. But now तो like when you get to hear कि अच्छा this comedian is in trouble, it almost happens like so often that it's not surprising anymore. Like
Yeah,
the
but like I remember I was talking to when we had Vaibhav on, we had a similar discussion, and isme Vaibhav said something ki your freedom of speech doesn't override the other person's freedom of speech to react, but that reaction should be within the legal framework, right? It should not be कि someone cannot threaten नहीं कर सकता, ये सब नहीं कर सकता, पर हाँ गाली लिखनी है, तुम्हें गाली लिखनी है या फिर तुम्हें बोलना है कि तुम्हारा ये सेट चूतिया है, whatever they want to write, they can do that, I guess. But I think
absolutely they can do that.
they can feel offended as well. It's just that it can't react on
घर
it.
तक नहीं पहुंच सकते यार. Like family को threaten थोड़ी करोगे तुम, पागल हो गए, ये थोड़ी है.
like that's the joke in Take It Easy, that when somebody comes to hit you with hockey sticks, you can't throw the constitution back at them. Right?
yeah I did.
So but yeah, we have like crossed that line.
Yeah, like that's the part where there's this. So like with the kind of human being I am, मुझे उंगली करने की शौक है लोगों को. But if I know somebody's getting irritated, it like brings me joy for whatever reason it is. I am sadistic like that. So and then Devin actually was telling me, he's like, यार तू comedy अगर इंडिया में करेगा ना, like the stuff that you sometimes talk about, हमारा करियर शुरू होने से पहले खत्म हो जाएगा.
या बहुत अच्छा जाएगा.
या बहुत अच्छा जाएगा.
Either way, yeah.
Like
I think it will only go very well if it's so funny. The thing that I get scared about, what if you make an offensive joke that's not even funny?
Yeah,
then you're just an idiot.
But you need, but the thing with that is you need places, like if you're going to a comedy club or something, that is I don't know what again I have not figured this out, but I don't know what the culture over here, like in Melbourne you have smaller clubs, smaller establishments that do open mic nights. You can go, you can try material out, it's not a big deal, right? That's where you work out essentially. And then when you have bigger shows, important shows, that's when you come polished. India mein, I'm sure there would be something equivalent of that.
Same, it's the same thing. Delhi mein to bahut hai aise.
Right. So when you go to these establishments, वहाँ पे तुम जाके फिर ये नहीं कर सकती ये कॉमिक आया था और उसने ये जोक बोला और वो फनी नहीं था बट ऑफेंस. बट वहाँ पे तो वो एक्सरसाइज कर रहा है. He's trying to get that joke to a point where he can bring it to you on a bigger stage. That's where I get like, you can't go into a open mic or a small club or something like that, which is a clear workout, and say, oh, you said this. And
live shows में actually बहुत कम होता है. This is mostly an internet phenomenon. Like live shows में होगा इधर उधर कभी-कभी, जैसे वो like somebody will get drunk or you will have that one wrong person in the show sometimes. But people who are coming to comedy clubs, they kind of know, like they are part of your team.
Hmm.
Like, you know, they know, okay, okay, this is part of a workout. The problem happens when you put it out online or when you tweet something. That's a complete army that suddenly, like, you know, pops up.
I guess that's when you have to assess it and be like, is this worth it or is it funny enough? The problem is, you know what the issue is though? If it's very funny, it hurts even more. That's the
Yeah.
part. Like if it's hilarious, जिनको टारगेट हुआ होता है ना उनके तो मतलब छेद हो जाता है अंदर की उनको
हाँ, हाँ,
यार ये तो
हाँ, हाँ.
बहुत जोर का मुक्का मारा है इसने मेरे को. And that's the very hard. You can't shake that off. It's like high
Yeah.
school में किसी ने तुम्हें एक funny nickname दे दिया ना, वो stick हो जाता
हाँ.
है, वो जा नहीं सकता
Yeah.
because वो funny है. कोई बकवास वो you forget about it. But
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Yeah, it gets more attention also if it's funnier. That's true. That's true. Chalo, we'll talk about lighter comedy sets. we'll go to the set that I really like because I'm more into music anyway. And my favorite set is the Afri Afri one. And I was
Oh,
playing it
man.
again yesterday, and I like ko aise Ajanta ki Murat, Kilkawan, Chaman, Khushbu, Nagma, and other childhood friends. Like, मुझे वो set I really like it because it's also very it's actually it's I can so imagine that once you're listening to the song and you just get this thought कि पूरे गाने
Yeah.
में तारीफ करके बोल रहा है अरे तारीफ मुमकिन नहीं like it's just a fuck ये तो मैं पक्का करूंगा.
that's why you listen to the original, like he said. वो disclaimer शुरू में ही आता है.
How did
Yeah.
how did you come up like where, like I just want to ask you where or do you remember where like you were or what state of mind you were in when you came up with this
Premise.
set?
So I used to listen to Afrin Afrin. Me and my wife used to listen to Afrin Afrin a lot at night while we were just winding down before sleeping. And so this thought had come to us at that point. कि मुमकिन नहीं बोल रहा है, बाद में बोल रहा है. Like, you know, just ऐसे we had just chatted about it, and I did not write a set on it, but we had a laugh about it. And then I was like few months later, I was hosting an open mic at Canvas Laugh Club, and over there one open micer came and like did a set on Afrin Afrin, which was like very bad. Okay, वो मोमिना के ऊपर था and all that, like, you know, like कि मोमिना is so
Yeah.
hot and all. So then I just went on stage and addressed that कि यार Afrin Afrin मेरा favorite song है और उसके बारे में ये सब कैसे बोल रहे हैं. And then I just started talking about it कि पता है वहाँ पे मुमकिन नहीं आता है, नहीं वो ऐसे ऐसे करके, and it just killed. Like, वो उस रात जो बात हुआ था, that I just kind of shared with the audience and it killed hard. कुछ 1.5-2 मिनट पे चल गया था उस दिन. And then like I was so surprised कि अरे नया bit मिल गया. So I went to the sound engineer and I was like आज का recording मिलेगा क्योंकि they used to record every set एक ऊपर का कैमरा से. And I was like आज का set दे मेरे को, मतलब इस पे लिखना है. And then I went back and then I started writing a bigger bit on it.
That would be
The,
amazing. Like that feeling also ना
the,
कि यार एक joke मिल गया.
exactly. The feeling was great, and the main attraction in that set was that lyricist wala point where like male and female, like the whole like duets be like
Yeah.
एक ही जन लिख रहा है. I felt that is something new that I am bringing to the table in this bit, and that gave me the confidence to okay make a bit on the silly things कि यहाँ पे रे इसमें दो बार बोल रहा है like तलाक तलाक, like, you know, have fun with it, शेरवानी and all, and then do a nice observation. This is why I like, you know,
Rounding
wrote
off
the
of
set.
it. Like you rounded it off.
That bit was
Nice with that end.
that
Yeah.
punchline was really good. It's like and जब मर्दों के बारे में लिख रहे हैं आवारा. that was very nice.
हो
But
गई हूँ मैं हसीन, मतलब इसमें भी तू ही हसीन हो गई.
नहीं
I
नहीं
like Afrin Afrin जब मैं लिख रहा था ना, it was very different from all the other sets of mine because everything else that's online has been like performed for over a year, some over 2 years, 3 years. But Afrin Afrin I actually did only for 3 months. I like performed for 3 months in like all my main shows. I used to do it in my solo and all, and then I just felt like releasing it. वो टेक इट इजी में था अफरीन अफरीन, जब इनिशियल शोज ऑफ टेक इट इजी करता था उसमें, बट वो फिट नहीं होता था कहीं पे. लाइक नेताजी था, फ्रीडम फ्रीडम, और बीच में से अफरीन
आफरी
अफरीन का
आफरी
सेट होता.
वही आफरी आफरी के बाद कश्मीर क्या.
हाँ, ये मतलब टेक इट इजी का जो पहला शो देखा ना, मैं एक शो किया था बैंगलोर में जो कुछ 1 घंटा 30 मिनट का शो था. उसमें सब कुछ था, ठीक है. उसमें आफरीन था, कश्मीर था. तो it used to be a lot of fun because all the sets used to work but कोई मतलब sync नहीं था. इनमें से. तो then I thought कि okay अभी 3 महीने हो गए, मजा आया, अभी डाल देते हैं shows promote करने के लिए, क्योंकि like I had a tour after that.
Interesting है वो joke काफी. Like I like as musicians, I think for both of us it was
Yeah, it was
like
very nice joke actually.
बात तो सही है ये, क्योंकि हम we write music also, we compose and we like lyricists as well, both of us. तो हम भी जब लिख रहे होते हैं and हमारे गाने जो हमने लिखे हैं उसमें भी those observations come in कि यार क्या है. एक बार हम अभी recently मैं देविन को एक गाना बता रहा था, मैंने कहा यार ये word हमने कुछ ज्यादा नहीं यूज कर लिया, मतलब like थोड़ा आते जाता है बार बार, मतलब और ये concept ही अब like अरे लड़कियों के बारे में लिख लिया, ठीक है यार, अब बदलना पड़ेगा, कितना लड़कियों के बारे में लिखोगे मतलब.
Yeah, it gets like you realize that you're starting to use the same sort of
Same word,
vocabulary, yeah,
yeah.
the same universe of words.
Yeah,
But मुझे एक चीज जो sometimes I feel कि जैसे a lot of comedy, like if you like say a set to me, ऐसे ऐसे बात करते हो, आप मुझे बता रहे हो and ऐसा informally idea बता रहे हो,
Hmm.
so a lot of times I feel that it's funnier than when I actually hear the actual set. Like not in terms
Yeah.
of any comedian in particular, but I just thought that came to me like when we were discussing Afri, like we're having like a lot of laughs here, and of course your set we are laughed at, but I'm thinking in general, like does it ever like you feel कि यार जब मैं ऐसे बात करके डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ आई एम सीइंग 10 out of 10, एंड जब मैं ऐसे इसको एज अ सिंगल होके ऑन स्टेज आई एम डिलीवरिंग इट, इट्स अ decent to good bit, like वो फीलिंग नहीं आ रहा जो उसी टाइम पे आया था. Do you ever feel
Yeah,
this?
yeah, ये तो बहुत होता है यार. Like because you're the most free when you're probably like saying it out loud for the first time, and then you start like applying comedy like principles की ये है, so that can like dilute it a little bit. Yeah, it happens a lot. Like मेरे लिए मतलब मेरे साथ तो I think हमेशा ही यही होता है. Like when I first have an idea and I share it with someone, it's much funnier than stage पे आके कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ किया है, ठीक से नहीं बोला है, delivery fuck हो गया है. तो
But I guess
yeah,
expectation भी तो problem होगी. Like your audience is there to for you to make them laugh, so I guess that's what the expectation is. Whereas in the conversation is very unexpected. Like
Yeah,
जैसे
this is
हम
true.
बात कर रहे हो और तुम if you say something very funny, it comes out of the blue. Like that Lahore joke also on the Aboriginal, it just came to, and that's funny because it's so unexpected. Like it's just a connection that
yeah.
we made, and obviously when you go on stage you have to misdirect then bring it back so that they don't know that you're going in that direction and you have to throw them off, but the
Yeah, that
expectation is कि हंसाएगा हमें.
And also, like मेरे को एक example याद आया अभी recently, not recently, this is like Sunday or something. What day were we in the airport in Melbourne? So we were in the boarding में वो check in की line में थे, तो बहुत लंबी line थी, लोग अजीब अजीब से like वो COVID forms थे and all this kind of stuff. तो धीरे में बस ऐसे ही खड़े हुए थे and कोई मेरे को बस ऐसे घूर रहा था, तो मुझे ना ये लाइन याद आ गई कि वो गंगाजल में बोलता है ना, आंख दिखाता है मादर जात. तो I'm like, तो then I just said to Dhiren कि आंख दिखाता है मादर जात, आंख नहीं दिखाएगा तो क्या गांड दिखाएगा, like just something random
But
as
the
that.
way he said it was
And,
so funny.
like right now I'm saying it to you like just like this ना, अभी ये funny भी नहीं है. When I was saying it to Dhiren, I've just said the whole आंख दिखाता है मादर जात तो क्या गांड ऐसे मैंने उसको ऐसे करके बोला, and in there Dhiren and I know ऐसे बीच में हम check in के बीच में we are just laughing, but I swear if I ever go on stage and do this joke I'll fuck it
No,
up.
I get it. That the thing that's most interesting is comedy is all about surprise. Yet the jokes that you're doing on stage, you know it inside out. You are
Yeah.
not surprised at all. So it's like, yeah,
They're the most
it's
polished that you can ever be.
just weird.
Yeah, and it's like actually a lot of acting classes now they tell you that this is the difference between like as an what's your art and what's your craft. Your craft is that you know this joke inside out, that you have to look this way and say this joke, and your art is to make it seem like you don't know this.
Yeah, that's the whole
Yeah.
thing, that you are also like pretending to be surprised by along with the audience.
Yeah, that's that's quite cool.
You were going to say something earlier.
I was just looking at the chat just to see if there's anything that's been in. There is SG Vlogs who spammed big fan Anirban Bhaiya. So we'll read his comment and you can stop spamming now, sir. That would be good. Okay, there was a few things about Kolkata as well.
You have a look. I'll ask Anirban. So wait, my most serious question, which I thought I'll leave towards the end, was how did you feel playing GM Abish Matthew?
Oh man, like I swear, like I am a huge fan of Abhishek's chess. Okay, like I love, okay, like her match, may I have like shouted and screamed for him. That kind of a supporter. Because when you see Abhishek's chess with Samay's commentary, it's one of the best
amazing.
things ever. And when I was playing Abhish, I was like, like if you underestimate somebody, that's how you lose in chess. No, like that's the lesson I've learned many times. So I was like, I'll play properly, play properly. Then when he first moved his king, thoda sa like
That
my
was
heart because it's so unnatural. And when like I realized because people don't play like that, right? Like so when Abhi starts playing with the king, like because all the other ways of playing chess, from chess.com में तुम रात रात खेला है, so कि ये होएगा ये. Then suddenly you see a king, a king match 1 सेकंड के लिए तो आप सोचोगे ना कि क्या हो रहा है, तो वो मेरे को हुआ था. I was like ठीक है इसको check देते रहना.
dude. When that game with him and Nishant, Nishant Thakur, when you saw that, I watched that. I was watching that, and I couldn't believe. And Samay's commentary is so on point that on one level I started believing it. I'm like, ये
Yeah, that
जीतेगा.
was very good. He was doing that very well.
Like,
So when Abhi
Now it's all over for
finally-
Anirban. No, the rules don't apply. He's come out with the king. That was insane.
अभी opponent का rook के साथ castle कर रहा है. अभी से king.
he is giving a check to his own king, and he's gonna move the king.
Why do I need to take a
What
free
the-
queen when I can develop my king? क्या बोला था समय यार?
Oh, that was so funny. But I was genuinely, I started believing it in between. I'm like, क्या कर रहा है Tharin? ये तो ऐसा थोड़ी होता है. But when that checkmate came, like it. This content could not, like, people actually were writing in the thing scripted. I'm like, have you lost it? You can't script something like this.
नहीं हो सकता.
The most beautiful piece of I think content that came out of that was
Dude, that game against Nishant Tanwar was just the best ever.
I have never seen anything like
When he found the checkmate, he's like, he's like, I don't know what I did.
What happened?
did I win?
And even the 50 move draw, dude. That's so
Oh yeah, that also, like, they didn't know the rules for that.
Yeah.
That
Dude,
was,
I also didn't know. I found out the rules from that only. I didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know this rule? No.
No.
Yeah, it's a quite common rule. But
have
yeah.
you guys played each other?
But I have not played Anirban, I think. No. I played, I think, almost everyone but Anirban.
Yeah, I have seen you play on stream.
Hmm.
How much rated are you?
Abhi, I am 1500 something.
Yeah. That's why. Have you ever like sent me a request and I have declined it?
No. I don't. I would, if I wanted to play to you, I would ask you first on DM. Then I will send
Okay,
it. Yeah.
okay. Because like I get like everybody who like challenges me at the 1500, I like decline.
But yeah, this year Anirban, this comedy on the board 4, something was a bit off.
This one?
No, I think in your play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
in
was
your-
totally off.
in your play it was
off. I played horrible. I did not play naturally. That's
Yeah,
the
were you
biggest
carrying
mistake.
some like after effect of the old COB, that expectation है कुछ या nervousness हो
Yeah,
रहा है?
I just realized that last COB best था क्योंकि कोई pressure नहीं था मेरे को मतलब my expectation was कुणाल राव से मैं out हो जाएगा तो एकदम फर्क नहीं पड़ा मेरे को like all the matches I played with the right frame of mind. This time I had too much going on and that was the like reason I like
Because I
couldn't
think
play.
नहीं एक तो हर कोई फेवरेट हो रहा था टूर्नामेंट का मेरे को नजर आता था सागर एंड समय वुड बी कमेंट्री ही इज वन ऑफ द फेवरेट्स फॉर द टूर्नामेंट कि तू 4 लोगों को फेवरेट बोला चुका है यार 5-6 लोग
But to be fair, they were, this time it was a tough
came in
field.
was very
I mean, it was a
very
tough field. There was a lot of players around the same level. Semi-finals, if you see, a lot of the players were on the same level. Even
Yeah.
then, Biswa was also there, and see those 5-6 people.
No, that was like I've only recently got back into chess. Devin has been playing for a while, but like I recently got back into it. I'm like, this is so entertaining. Like comedians on board. I think it's so funny because Abhish's game is I have never seen anything like that in any sport ever. Like I have watched United come back against football. I've watched all of these great things that have happened. I've seen winning the treble. This is the best thing I've ever seen.
It's special, dude. It's nothing like it. It can't happen.
Yeah, and it's also just his personality because Abhish is there. He does not give.
He doesn't give
two
two shits about what he's doing.
He's out, and he just plays this interesting brand of chess. But no, what I was asking is ki before COB 2, I think it was, you had been on very less streams chess wise, right? It was not as much. now you've been
Yeah,
on money more.
yeah,
I think between that
yeah,
2 and 3 का जो gap था. So in that
yeah,
time it was like कि no one was expecting only. Once Samay had beaten Joel, it was like okay, Samay will win this Comedians on Board now.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
expected. And even in that game, I
yeah.
remember Anirban who actually in the opening only got a worse position, and he was like okay, now
Dude, I
this
was
game.
three pieces
Yeah.
down. I was
Yeah,
three
and
pieces.
then he just started pushing this pawn. बीच का एक pawn push करना शुरू कर दिया है, and Samay just started thinking so much, and position एकदम ही complex हो गया. And any
Uh,
complex move that he could make, he just made, and then वो Samay lost. It was quite insane. That game was
yeah,
also
yeah,
very
yeah.
insane.
Epic game, dude. I have no, like, I have analyzed that game many times. I can't make any sense of it. It's a crazy game. But that at that time, what was happening is I was playing so freely. Like I wasn't doing those improving chess lessons yet,
Yeah.
but I was watching them, so I was learning from them a little bit. I was very irregular, so I would watch like 1 in 5 episodes maybe. But मेरे को कुछ तो मतलब knowledge मिल रहा था वहाँ से, and I was just playing freely chess.com में अपने like वो rating के साथ. So when the tournament came, zero expectations, playing like happily, just perfect. This time I was like a little under pressure because first of all I got an easy
डिफेंडिंग
draw.
चैंपियन
So
हर
I was
बात
like,
पे.
okay, सेमीफाइनल तक नहीं पहुंचा तो उसका एक प्रेशर.
Hmm.
Then last tournament जीता तो उसका एक pressure. Then I know these guys are so strong because I have improved, but they have also improved. No, that's the problem. If they are still
Yeah.
1300 and I am also 1300, then it's cool.
But it was
But they are
quite
like 1500.
But it was quite funny कि nobody had like any like rivalry or beef with you. Like in like मजाक
Yeah.
में भी जैसे समय
Yeah.
विश्वास समय जोएल even to an extent वैभव वैभव ने इतना खेल लिया था on so many streams कि it was like कि everyone was like okay, but even though you had won it was like कि
हाँ,
अनिर्बान
no.
स्वीट अनिर्बान का वो वाला जोन था. तो इसमें you like सेमीफाइनल तक पहुंच गए, like that was good. But हाँ, I think सेमीफाइनल में you did not play probably your best chess.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
not like. I played Vaibhav after the tournament ended, like
Yeah.
2-3 hours after my semi-final match. I played with Vaibhav 2 games. With like so in the tournament I was white.
Yeah.
So the game I played with him at night with white I won. Okay,
Yeah.
and the game that I played with black I lost. So yeah, could have been like different if I
Chess is.
played like.
But how long have you been playing also? Like, how did like you've been playing सब हमेशा से शुरू से ही?
No, I like same yeah school में like I understood कि क्या है rules basic rules का, but कभी उतना मतलब seriously खेला नहीं है. And then like when someone called for COB1, that's when I downloaded chess.com. और
Like,
बस.
हम लोगों ने भी मैं स्कूल में खेलता था. देवन तो दिल्ली स्टेट रनर अप था at one point.
Oh,
Yeah, but I was 7 years old. Please
okay.
clarify.
No, Devin left. Like
Yeah.
Devin left chess for cricket. I left chess for music. I think at that time I was doing more music stuff. But yeah, like it was.
But it's insane यार. अभी जो chess का
Now
जो चल
I
रहा है
like
ना,
it. I used to hate it
insane.
at that point. हमें तो force करती थी हमारी mom आगे बिठा दिया करो like.
तो अभी बात करते करते जो भी मेरा YouTube के नोटिफिकेशन आए साइड में सारे चेस के हैं. Chess Base India is like.
Yeah. And guys, please, once this stream ends, although we have not as many people watching as them, of course, but please do watch. Are you watching that event that Saga is doing right now? This
Yeah,
juniors.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
insane,
I'm
right?
watching
Even
like
that.
on and off. I watch like
Uh,
2-3 matches a day at least.
Even that stream that they're doing is insane. And
Very
a
good.
lot of members who are in the chat have donated for that event. The prize money has come through a lot of the guys who are in the chat. So
Oh, amazing.
that's really good. But yeah, like abhi it's very good. जैसे chess का जो चल रहा है. But do you think that is also going to like? Do you think that new people are coming to your comedy through this chess thing? Do you think that has happened at all? Not your live shows yet because COVID, but like say in your
Views and
Instagram
stuff,
and
yeah.
reaching out to you. Yeah.
Yeah. People have been like definitely, coming from chess. Just that's like a really good community of people. So like yeah, they're definitely like live shows. I don't know, but I'm sure like कुछ ना कुछ live shows maybe like there'll be some chess connect with somebody. But
Yeah.
how weird में बहुत लोग आए हैं Instagram पे आए हैं.
Yeah, I can imagine क्योंकि it's insane. Like I don't know अगर आपने बेवफा समय सुना है. I don't know if you've heard it. हाँ तो बेवफा
I
समय
have.
के बाद we have got like insane amount of like messages from people and it's like कि you don't expect it only कि this possible.
उसके पहले हम
Yeah.
सोचते थे क्या करें. हमारा पहला गाना I think 20,000
हाँ,
views पे
this
था.
song we had sat on for 1 year जो इसके पहले रिलीज किया था. It is barely touched 20,000 views and then we made this song in one night and
बेफालतू में,
in
yeah.
the, like within like 2 weeks it was on like 250,000 views and all
So
this kind of
it
stuff.
just
Like,
hit 300
yeah, it just
yesterday.
hit 300,000 views.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah,
Actually,
yeah. This group of people, they are like insane.
I love
They're
it. I was like,
everywhere.
क्या
yeah,
support है
I
यार.
was joking with
Yeah.
Samay, and Samay said to me, he was like, अबे तेरे को क्या प्रमोशन चाहिए, इतने व्यू तो लोगों के स्टैंड अप पे नहीं आते. He said this to me. He said, तुझे क्या चाहिए अब? And yeah,
Kill
we are going to have Samay on tomorrow as well as a guest on the podcast.
Oh,
So that's
nice.
also very good. But yeah, also I wanted to ask you lastly, like, Abhi, I remember you told me when you were talking about times ki you are doing some shows right now or like doing some trials, and I think you are performing on Spade Comedy Festival as well.
Yes, Spade. I'm doing on 27th of December, and in Bombay, I'm doing that comedy club on 24th and 25th of December.
Oh, Christmas as well. Like this here, happy Christmas पे चलता है सब, मतलब खुला
या
रहता है.
मैं तो लाइक क्रिसमस ये वाला पीरियड अगर कोविड नहीं होता है दिस इज लाइक द बेस्ट टाइम टू डू स्टैंड अप
हाँ.
लाइक पीपल कम आउट इट्स ग्रेट शोज लाइक लास्ट ईयर 26 टू 2nd Jan ये कुछ 6-7 दिन में मैं आई थिंक आई डन सम 10 solos like 2 shows a day like lot of fun full party mood everybody
Yeah, everyone comes out celebrating, nah? And it's just
yeah.
like it's always like that. We also used to do that when
Yeah.
we were used to be here.
It's
Australia
just
is
New Year
different. Like,
time है, Christmas
done.
मतलब borrowed holiday but enjoy करेंगे. तो वो रहता है. But and क्या कहते हैं? So are you doing new material at these shows or what's happening?
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of new material. Abhi tak actually I haven't done an hour. So abhi tak I've been doing like 15-minute, 10-minute spots. So usme to I've been doing new material. But in an hour, I will like do a little bit pehle ka and
fair enough.
little bit.
And
do you find it annoying that you have to do that because now people can like sometimes you have this कि यार ये लोगों ने शायद online देख लिया होगा इसको मुझे अगर repeat करना होगा.
no, but I don't think
नहीं,
he'll do
नहीं.
that material, ना.
हाँ हाँ नहीं ऑनलाइन जो है वो तो नहीं कर रहे ना ये पुराना है मतलब जो ऑनलाइन
अच्छा.
नहीं है
Oh, then that, so that's
So
what I
it's-
was. So,
yeah,
yeah, because then I was like,
Yeah.
it would be a little tough to do something that's
yeah,
already
yeah no,
out.
once something is released on YouTube
You can't do that.
nobody does it on stage again.
I remember there was one comedian who was saying कि मेरा एक शो था ऐसे like आज के दिन अंधेरी में किया and कल मैंने कुछ ऐसे ऑल सबब में बैंड्रा में कुछ शो किया and the same people came to the second show and said आज आपने कुछ न्यू मटेरियल नहीं किया. like कल ही तो किया था यार शो, कैसे इतनी जल्दी कैसे लिखूंगा. नहीं, fair enough. But चलो, I think Deraynged, do you want to ask anything? I think you had to.
I'm good. I'm completely. I have a beach
Because
match.
I
Was
know
my
Anirban
main
said that
question.
evening as soon as it gets past like 2:33, he has some commitments. So I don't want to keep him for too long.
Any
But
questions? Just get. ask the
yeah,
chat.
chat से पूछे थे एक बार last time. If there are any questions in chat, just quickly ask guys, and then we'll let Anirban go. But Anirban, thank you for coming यार, बहुत मजा आया.
Hey, great fun मुझे भी बहुत मजा आया
एंड मैं वेट कर रहा हूँ आपकी अफसोस 2 या फिर वो डिवोर्स 1. अफसोस 2 या डिवोर्स 1 ये कब आएगा?
नहीं इस वाले का ना तलाक 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 लिखो इसका नाम.
नहीं, तलाक लिखोगे तो शुरू होने से पहले ही खत्म हो जाएगा. दैट इज टू मच.
अच्छा, oh, you know what? I didn't even get that because I was actually throwing it back to the joke. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that will certain 1 घंटे के सेट में you can hide it. वो also नहीं, मेरा एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन था कि if you said you haven't done an hour तो तुम corporate show में कितना टाइम करते हो? Like what is this?
haven't done an hour as in corporate shows में I do 30 to 40 minutes
Okay.
yeah
Okay.
But an hour, he's saying new hour. He has old material.
No, I know that, but corporate show, he's saying कि वो ऐसे एक बारी में 1 घंटा regularly shows में नहीं करता. तो that's why I'm asking. Corporate show में usually ऐसा होता है ना कि they want you to perform for a longer period of time, I think. क्योंकि एक ही बंदे को बुलाते हैं या 2 बंदों को बुलाते हैं. That kind of thing.
corporate अभी बहुत Zoom पे चल रहे थे मैं सब shows कर रहा हूँ अभी तो half an hour maximum उधर तो और live में भी I used to do like 40-45 minutes. Corporates मेरे को बहुत मजा आता है करने में क्योंकि मेरे पास इतना corporate material है कि corporates में एकदम stress नहीं है.
Do you ever like go to a corporate store and like whoever's booked you or whatever ask them like इसके बारे में बताना है या अपने बॉस या इसके बारे में and then उनका मजाक उड़ाया स्टेज में जाके like कि
हाँ ऐसा भी बहुत
वो तो
बार
होता
हुआ
ही है
है.
ना.
Yeah, that has also happened. Sometimes the clients only say कि like you know you can pick on this, but like you know when you plan it never really like works out. So but ऐसे हो ही जाता है
कि कोई बोल देता है ये करता है इसको मतलब और फिर इस पे.
अरे मैं क्या करता हूँ कॉर्पोरेट शोज में मैं सीधा ढूंढता हूँ कि बॉस कौन है ठीक है और मैं उसको देख के बोलता हूँ कि like by looking at you I can say that you earn the highest in this room, and just say something like this, and it gets a huge laugh, or like he also laughs, and then उसके साथ कुछ ना कुछ करके मतलब एकदम जम जाता है उसके बाद.
नहीं
ये भी
बढ़िया.
सही
Okay,
है.
there are two questions in chat. One is, when is the new special coming? If there is any news or any special coming.
No, right now तो I am still thinking of like constructing the special. तो अभी थोड़ा time है. अभी एक घंटे के shows that I'll be doing. Yeah, I'll try to see like how that can be made into a special. And although I have another idea, which is a very different idea. It's like part stand up, 30 minutes of stand up and 30 minutes of film. बीच में मतलब will be interspersed with each other on one subject. And I have like written it out a little bit, but पता नहीं वो कब कर पाऊंगा. It's
तीस
like a
तीस
little
मिनट वो
long.
कितनी बार स्टैंड अप कितना होगा उसमें ओवरऑल?
30 minutes stand up मतलब half and half type होगा.
अच्छा.
And stand up आएगा, फिर कुछ और आएगा, फिर
आई
stand
थॉट
up
यू
आएगा,
मेंट
फिर कुछ.
30 मिनट स्टैंड अप करोगे, 30 मिनट का फिल्म आएगा, 30 मिनट और स्टैंड अप करोगे.
नहीं नहीं
So
नहीं.
I'm like,
It's just like
that is
5
going
minutes,
to be
10 minutes, 5
tough
minutes,
one
5
to
minutes
crack,
ऐसे
man. हाँ. Okay,
तो
and the
वो मैं
last. अच्छा, आप बोलो पहले.
बहुत टाइम से लिख रहा हूँ, बट कभी तो करूंगा.
चलो बढ़िया. And the last question was, taking, not considering this punching lady experience, what is your most crazy fan experience? Like a question. Big Fat Panda has super chatted and asked.
Crazy fan experience. Like a lot of times, like people like just like they come and like give you something that they have like spent a lot of time making. That वैसे ही like whenever that has happened at the end of shows, like
Do,
it's a sweet fan experience. It's not crazy. Crazy to have to think.
Crazy वो भी
do you
कोलकाता
have
वाला
girls
है.
hit on you even though they might not know that you're married, or like, or they find out even I don't know, maybe they don't even care, but do you have any times like where there's like girls who find you more attractive, like they'll come up to you and be like a little more forward?
Yeah, like it's happened like पहले पहले. अभी तो सबको पता है कि मेरे को बच्चा नहीं चाहिए, तो I don't think
हाँ, that's a set, ना? That's a
अच्छा, अब तो
set.
set हो गया. हाँ, that's true.
It's a
That's
set,
true.
so fair
but
enough.
yeah. But like the audience that like comes to my shows are like extremely sweet. मजा आता है. Like एकदम like वही कैलकाटा में नौकरी नहीं मिला, बैंगलोर में नौकरी कर रहे हैं, and like फिर इधर कॉमेडी में देख रहे हैं. That public.
ये सही है.
चलो. And Anirban's favorite comedian. We'll take this as the last one. We'll...
Favorite comedian is Norm Macdonald. Yeah,
And
just
Samay's favorite as well, I think.
yeah. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I've seen that on Summer stream
Mm,
also.
yeah.
Yeah, Norm Macdonald for sure.
Okay. And I think that's the end of the questions. I don't think यहाँ पे कुछ ज़्यादा interesting अभी मेरे को नजर आ रहे हैं. तो thank you
Spam
so
कहीं
much,
जा रही
Anirban.
है.
बहुत
Thank
मजा आया,
you.
and
Thank you.
had a great conversation, and hopefully when we'll have some more topics, we'll come back in the future and discuss them as well.
Yes. Thank you
चलो.
so much.
No
Thank you so
worries.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being
Bye
here,
bye.
Anirban. And we are going off in 5, 4.
Do you want to just address the chat with the music stuff for a second, and then
What music stuff?
दो तीन लोग ऐसे म्यूजिक के बारे में क्वेश्चन पूछते, so we can talk to them. Anirban, if you want to leave, feel free. Like,
Cool.
yeah.
I'll get going.
Okay,
Thank you
cool.
guys.
Joe,
so
thank you for
much.
coming,
See you.
Anirban.
Bye. Cool. ओके. हाँ, तो दो तीन चीज़ें थी. एक तो जो लोग कह रहे हैं बेवफा समय गा दो यार, कितनी बार गा दी यार. तुम बार बार गवाते हो. बट हाँ, एक चीज़ है कि हम लोग काफ़ी काम कर रहे हैं अभी म्यूज़िक को लेके. वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू वन रिलीज, तो स्पेशली इन जैन. फिर एक शूट पे हमें जाना है जो जनवरी में ही होगी, वो भी कर रहे हैं. एंड देन होपफुली यार 2021 में बहुत म्यूज़िक आएगा. एंड जेन्युइनली हमने बहुत काम किया है म्यूज़िक पे, तो म्यूज़िक आई थिंक इज़ गोइंग टू बी अ वेरी गुड क्वालिटी. बट जस्ट कीप हेल्पिंग अस टू like promote it and push it to newer boundaries, क्योंकि हम कोशिश, we want to also at some point figure out कि कैसे से we can properly run a house and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, new music is going to come out very soon. Who's your favorite singer? Devin bhai, Harsh, probably Sonu Nigam. I would probably go for Sonu Nigam. Do you want to say anything about music?
I think we हम दोनों अभी we're trying to go and check different avenues actually. एक तो हमारा मेन टाइप है जिसमें हम we already working in the style that we like to make music in, sort of. But there's some other ideas. I know people like Sarthak and us collaborating as well, so there is something that we're trying to work on that side as well. है अभी आइडियाज तो हैं. एक तो हम गाना है ही जो ऑलरेडी निकालने के लिए हम रेडी कर रहे हैं, तो वो hopefully within the next month we can get it ready to come out, hopefully. And we want to do a video for this, so we're also trying to figure those things out with COVID being a situation, with all these issues that we have to make sure that we can do something visually that is also appealing, क्योंकि अब मैं तीसरा वाला एक उसके साथ नहीं डालना चाहता, thumbnail, graphic moving.
Yeah, वो तो बेफास समय कॉन्टेक्स्ट पे चल गया.
हाँ, वो context पे चल गया. तो so that's the thing. So we definitely within the next month we should, if everything goes well, we should have something coming out. We did preview something yesterday or 2 days ago, which is sounding really nice. So I think that could be the case.
And most importantly, tomorrow we are doing a podcast with Samir Rana, the one that everyone's been waiting for. It is confirmed for 2 p.m. So please guys do.
Yeah, we'll upload everything.
I'll put it on the social medias and put it on the community post भी डाल दूंगा. And तो वो भी कर रहे हैं साथ में, trying to make sure कि कैसे channel busy रख सकें, because music में issue ये रहता है कि टाइम लगता है थोड़ा, एंड ऑल्सो दैट टू फिगर आउट द इन्वेस्टमेंट्स एंड व्हाट इज द राइट वे टू पुट द मनी बिहाइंड विच वर्किंग. आप प्रॉपर वीडियो करते हो तो यू हैव टू स्पेंड एक्स अमाउंट ऑफ मनी, डू एन एनिमेशन, इट्स अ लिटिल लेस. वीडियो नहीं करोगे तो वो भी नहीं, तो वी हैव टू टेक ऑल दीस कॉल्स. तो इसमें टाइम बहुत वेस्ट हो जाता है. वेस्ट नहीं इन द सेंस इट टेक्स.
Usually budget के साथ यही इशू होते हैं ना. You just have to control. So once we have those things in order, we also have to meet a few people for work related stuff. Obviously, budgeting and maybe investment, maybe those things. So there is a lot of that. Like there's a lot of work. Thankfully we are here now. तो हम अब हमारा काम शुरू हो चुका है ऑलरेडी. तो एंड पहली चीज़ मेरा था कि यहाँ आते हम ये सेटअप करें. आई डोंट नो इफ़ यू गाइस लाइक द सेटअप. अगर अच्छा लगता है वो भी बता दो. बट मैंने बहुत मेहनत करके ये सब करा है क्योंकि दिस डिड नॉट लुक लाइक दिस. So that was the main thing, because I knew we had to bring Anirban on. We were going to bring Samay on.
एक सेकंड.
We have.
हर्ष पुरवार जी, मुझे ढिंचैक पूजा ना धीरेन को ढिंचैक पूजा दोनों को नहीं पसंद है. आप प्लीज ये पूछना बंद कर दें. हमें नहीं पसंद.
नहीं. एंड तो वो जो चीज़ें पहला हमारा ये था, क्योंकि वी वांटेड टू कम बैक टू स्पीकिंग टू यू गाइस, डूइंग दिस, एंड देन as soon as and we want to put music out, so we're already working on that. But कोशिश तो यही रहेगी कि ये सब जल्दी रहे ताकि इंटरेक्शन अच्छी रहे हमारी, लाइक फ्लूइड रहे. एंड गाने निकले फिर. एक तो है मेरे पास बहुत किलर आइडिया है गाने का. अब वो अगर हो गया ना भाई, तुम लोग पागल हो जाओगे. बट वो उसको ना हमने करा हुआ है, बट वो थोड़ा सा कंट्रोवर्शियल है वो.
और ऑल्सो एक सुपर चैट आई है कि देवन, यू एंड वासिफ नीड टू कोलैब. वासिफ अफरीदी, ऑफ कोर्स आई वुड लव टू. Fufu Esports is also saying I would love to collab, so no problems. And I do really like his song "Tu Keh Dena Ek Baar." What's it called? And also I'm saying कि जैसे आप लोग ये सजेस्ट करो आसिफ फरीदी का, like anyone you think like who's suitable for podcast, and if anybody has links to more guests, like we are in this community right now, chess comedians. This is where we sort of starting out from, and then we are slowly bringing some music guests as well. But we are really open to talk to anyone who who has interesting things to share or interesting experiences to like tell us about. So we are मतलब कोई अगर आप लोगों को लग रहा है कि क्योंकि हमारे दिमाग में शायद वही लिमिटेड नाम है अभी, तो अगर कुछ है जो
रीच की बात होती है, हम किसको रीच कर सकते हैं अभी बिना ब्लू टिक के, किसको हम ला सकते हैं. और तो ये तो अभी कर पा रहे हैं हम. बट और भी मतलब इफ यू गाइस हैव एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ recommendations, also connections, we would love to exploit those connections.
एंड अरे जिनेश कनकारिया जी, मॉड मैं लोगों को बना चुका हूँ. काफ़ी मॉड्स ऑलरेडी हैं इस चैनल पे जो आते हैं और बहुत अच्छा काम करते हैं, जैसा आप देख सकते हो. तो ऐसा अभी मतलब रेगुलर ही नहीं है कि मॉड्स और बनाने पड़े, तो वही है. हाँ, सलील जामदार वुड बी अ ग्रेट गेस्ट. पूनम राउत जी, लेकिन आई थिंक ही इज़ अ वेरी बिग यूट्यूबर, सो माइट बी अ बिट हार्ड टू रीच. वील ट्राई आवर बेस्ट.
Let's do tomorrow with Samay and let's see how that goes.
Tomorrow, Samay, do come and we'll promote it as much as we
Tomorrow
can.
will be fun because there's banter in that.
Yeah, so everyone who wants to talk about Bewafa Samay, Endgame Dis, and all these kind of questions. If tomorrow when you want me to sing Bewafa Samay live, we'll do it. So that will be more fun ना, कि कल समय भी आ रहा है. But yeah, that's about it. किसी को chat में जल्दी से कोई पूछना है तो लिख दें, क्योंकि I think there are still 60 people with us. किसी को कोई questions हैं, कोई suggestion है, अभी लिख दो. उसके बाद हम अरिजीत सिंह कोलैबोरेशन.
भाई मतलब
व्हाई नॉट, like why not in general, but what's it called, it is not easy to just it's not easy to
एक गाना भी हमारे पास यार कि अगर अरिजीत एक क्या हमारे कोई भी गाना अरिजीत सिंह गाए तो अच्छा ही होगा. एक तो बहुत सूट करता है.
Yeah, but again वो रीच डिफिकल्ट है, प्लस रिलीज सिक्योर करना म्यूजिक में इज द हार्डेस्ट थिंग, जैसा हम आज बोल रहे थे. तो वो एक बार वील फिगर आउट. देन एक धीरेन फॉर यू आई गेस, मयंक कुकरेती फेव रैपर.
Yeah, all-time great तो अपना the reason I got into hip hop was Eminem, so I will always go with that. But I think I actually tend to listen to older rappers. I haven't heard a lot of new stuff. But when I go old school, like old, and it's funny thinking Eminem is old, but like um Eminem's the reason I got into hip hop, and I used to really like Ludacris. I used to really like uh, I used to think Diddy used to rap, but that's not the case. That was like wrong. Yeah, but like Eminem was somebody I really enjoyed. Ludacris, Lil Wayne was somebody I used to really enjoy. Drake, early Drake, when he used to genuinely spit bars, that was something that I really enjoyed as well. I think yeah, there's quite a few of them. Jay-Z, obviously staple. There's no anyone who knows anything about hip hop or likes hip hop has to like Jay-Z. I think it will be very hard not to.
I think he wanted you to say Raftar because he said after that Raftar bhai aa jayenge podcast pe.
अच्छा
Yeah,
अरे
we
यार
would love
तुम
to have
serious
Raftar
question
on.
पूछ रहे हो
It's just like I don't know.
इंडिया में तो रफ्तार for sure.
Yeah. But just how to get him to come on the podcast, that's what we have to figure out. But I'm trying to reach out to many guys. So that work is always on. Bhai, Biswa Immortal. What about Biswa Immortal? Vivek Sharma. Is Australia going to hammer India 4-0 in the test? I think it's a big possibility because we are playing a weaker team this year, I think.
So either way I win because I am Australian citizen and I have OCI of India. तो
I
जो
support
जीतता है मैं
India.
जीतता हूँ.
I support India, guys. I have nothing to do with this comment. Anyway, चलो आप बंद करते हैं अब. Thank you so much, guys. बहुत मजा आया and it was a great episode with Anirban. So tomorrow we'll see you around the same time with Samay.
Biswa, we would love to. I tell you what, you guys should like spam Biswa and be like go on their podcast.
Yeah, at some point, once we've done the Samay podcast, I think it will be easier to reach to say people with higher sort of, like who are a bit harder to reach because I knew Anirban sort of through because I knew Webhub and Samay and this kind of thing. But uske beyond Biswa, I feel like it's a bit harder to reach. Although we did play once on Sagar stream, the Biswa's Immortal, but then to get him to come on the podcast may be a bit tough.
What
We'll
is
try.
K8 Synapse? We got a new super chat from Fufu Esports.
K8 Synapse, who's that?
I don't know.
I don't know who that is.
Could you please elaborate? I have no idea.
K8 Synapse. Let me check.
Is that a rapper? Could be a rapper. I don't know.
K8 Synapse. I'm googling that and I cannot see anything.
ये सही है क्या curveball फेंके किसी को कुछ पता
I don't know who that is. Anyway, Fufu bhai can tell me after the podcast. I mean,
but yeah, thank you guys for coming in. Thank you for joining us. We had a good time with Anirban also, and tomorrow तो हम
yeah, tomorrow guys,
कल
बहुत
तो हम
मस्ती
बहुत
करेंगे.
मजे करने वाले हैं.
कल जिसको जो बैंटर करना है करना चैट में. बेवफा समय हम चला देंगे चैट में कल.
चलो, okay.
Okay guys.
Thank you guys. We are signing off.
And thank you for the super chat, Fufu bhai.
Behold my mind, I show. I've been through highs and lows. I've never been shown